Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email, pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys.
Your membership to gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race every Wednesday and Friday.
A lot of names, a lot of familiar faces, and another chance for $50 to sign up for PSR Gold. It's going to be a lot of fun. Why wouldn't you want to be on this list, huh? Frank, that's a great question. Does AI determine the winner? No, Frank. The fastest horse does. So shout out to everyone that's a member. We appreciate you guys. We let our horses run forever. 2.5 hours. Hey, what were you think? It's Antonio, here we go.
And they are off.
You know I'm not winning this. My horse ain't like this.
And here comes Big Show, who says 2 minutes is too long. Big Show wants this race to end right now. Going to be moving into the stretch soon. K-Wolf up front. Saturated making a move. And there's nasty motherfucking Nate. Director 97. And he showed me Director 97. $100. He wanting all the money.
Oh my God,
Director! And it's Director 97. Back.
Oh my God!
Fresh, take it home! You're 6'5", 4! Oh God! Saturated. Friedrich gonna come home with it. Is it Billy Friedrich's time? Is it his time? No, it's not. Cody Norton making is doing the fight with as well. Doing the fight. Calgary from HTown. Does Coin have enough space to get home? Or will Dabby take care of business? Here comes the show. A third win for Director 97.
But Connor Mack takes out. He might be blowing his load a little bit too early. Does anybody? The contest. Here comes Iron Eagle out of nowhere. Iron Eagle.
It's a packed race. 5 seconds. Bristol from the back. Bristol. The Napoli won that.
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm not cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated, Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, who get produced, fade the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They get slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a little weapon, cause we need, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, June 14th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. NHL Finals looking very, very good for us Panthers backers, 3-0. The NBA Finals looking very, very good for you Celtics backers. I did have that 2 units on the Celtics Game 1 in series. minus 135. So that's going to be helpful when that comes to fruition. And will that be this evening? Will it come to fruition this very evening? Very excited. Very excited. There is a group meeting up in Dallas. Now, that group has dwindled. The Mavericks backers aren't going to be there. Might just be Jose alone. See, Jose needs backup. That's why we were happy that the Mavericks backers were going to be there to protect Jose. And I'm ready to rock with you guys. I'm a little under the weather. The Wednesday show was extremely heavy with the knowledge that we've lost our friend Teese, family member of ours, and it's it weighed on me, and I don't know, physically fell apart. I don't know what it is, but we roll on and we move on, and all we can do is talk about Teese as much as possible. There is a get together online set up. It'll be 2 Fridays from now. We'll tell you guys more about that in Teese's honor. Hoobang and Sports Network and Pub will be co-producing it. So we'll be doing that together. And we will talk about Teese as much as possible. WNBA, college basketball, he was a star. And he meant a lot to us. So, it's just heavy. There's a heaviness. There's just a heaviness. And there's not much more to say to that other than our thoughts go to Alexis, his daughter, and we want to figure out how we can help and support her for in perpetuity, forever. So we're figuring that out. But it's time to do what Teese loved more than anything, and that's cap. So let's do exactly that. And let's talk about Teese as often as possible. Thank you guys here for joining us. WT says, happy Friday. Pick 6, Jimmy. Justin McKelvey, Stacks play days. The Astros minus 110. Stacks running nice. Going to copy and paste the Stacks play of the day. It is the Houston Astros. It's a very interesting game with Hunter Brown on the hill. I love the spot. Tariq Skubal on the other side. I'm not sure how I'm going to bet yet. I've not moved in MLB. I'm not entirely sure. We'll be capping it all together. Lamont Williams max bet is Cardinals first 5 money line. Let's get that copied and pasted as well. The Cardinals first 5 money line for our guy Lamont Williams. That's the first game to pop off. That's our 2:20 afternoon baseball game for you guys. We're going to start with CFL. I'll get into that, my thoughts about it here shortly. Then we're going to do MLB. We got Jose Bouquet. We got best bets from Daby Cab. And then we have NBA with both LJ from HTown and Billy Brisbane. And then Billy will stick around for WNBA. Professor Chris ready to get to work. We have Swiggy in the house. Andrew G says Celtics Panthers so close. Billy Friedrich Pig Milk play today is the A's first 5 plus a half. Look at that record from Pig Milk. Ooh-wee. Put it in the air. Billy Friedrich eating nice. Let's get it. I think I can get this set up in front of the game, which would be best. That is Mitch Spence for Simeon Woods Richardson. It's such an interesting spot, Billy, because we have not seen Simeon Wood Richardson at home often this year. He's only thrown 16 innings at home, and he's been excellent in those starts. But Mitch Spence is pitching well. 3.68 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. We'll go over all of that. Billy Friedrich also, if you can find flexing under 16.5 outs, it's a great look. Just got a lot juicier. Yeah, and then you guys know I've got this fucking soft spot for Chris Flexen, who I thought looked pretty good at home versus Red Sox since last night. I think Flexen's been pretty good. My problem is I actually like the guy. I like the guy. I liked him with the Mariners. He's loved in the clubhouse. Popular dude. Joey Harb in the house. Swiggy giving the congrats to the specialty plays in our chat. Andrew G said, Seen Unders killed it in MLB yesterday too. Swiggy saying Billy Briz 2-0 in WNBA. We have Sancho, Tori Coker, Subhuman Gaucho, and Justin McKelvey gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership just to get us rolling to bless our action. Thank you, Justin, my friend. Tori Coker says, this is the night Dallas wins. And Gerald Jones says, happy Father's Day weekend, Lowback fam. Best bet, Minnesota Twins run line for our guy, Gerald Jones. The Twinkies on the run line. Get that locked and loaded here for us. Twinkies on the run line. I'm just going to put that on MLB. I'm not going to go around searching for the game. There is Swiggy with the link to our $100 UFC contest. Redbeard CLC. Nate Dogg for 20. Billy Friedrich also called the Jake Berger homer. Absolutely great work. Morgan Spooner, Dansby Swanson, hits, runs, RBIs, only bet on his card so far. 9-13 off of Gibson with 4 walks. So there we go. Sparks first half for Tori Coker. There's old E in the house. Justin McKelvey says he was bamboozled out of his steak. I like that. Bamboozled. It's a good word, Justin. Not enough people use bamboozled anymore. It's old-timey. It's old-timey nice. Fucking bamboozled. Nobody going to bamboozle me again. Slatsy with his CFL action. We're going to be talking about that. Phil Pott over 67.5 receiving yards, one of his player props. And the Elks team total under 20.5. I've been staring at that, Slatsy, for a few days now. I have doubled up on unders, and I don't know if I'm going to add the third bet, but I think that's probably the best bet. That's the lone edition that I'm looking at here. Lone edition. Phil the Kill ready to get to work. Slatsy says one more for the Panthers. Big score. And Jay Smooth Balls play today is Chris Sale over 7.5 strikeouts at plus 102. Chris Sale. Let's get that here and locked and loaded. My dude in the house ready to get to work. And there's Dommy Gun Ricci. Wonderful to see you, Dommy Gun Ricci. Sometimes it takes a loss to bring everybody back together, and clearly that's what's happening right now. And I don't know. I there's not much to say to make anybody feel better. There's a lot to say to keep Tease in our thoughts, and that's the one thing we can do, and talk about Tease and talk about him forever. And that's what we'll do. I'm just lost with it all. It's when we couldn't find him, there were serious concerns, obvious concerns, and at that point, when you can't find somebody at our age, you don't want to know the answer. It's not a oh, I rented a mansion out in Costa Rica. So, even though we thought something was really wrong, getting the information is, like a punch in the stomach. So, but it's really nice to have you back around us, Dommy Gun. And, yeah, it's, it just, it hurts. I don't know what happened to me, man. My whole fucking body shut down. Wednesday night was a tough live stream, and it was tough. I don't know. We now have 4 deaths in our low bag group, and Vegas Gun, Puzzler, Tim Steves, and now our friend Tease. And if it doesn't hurt, then you don't care. I mean, it's okay that it hurts. It's just the finality of it all is the struggle I have. I mean, there's just nothing you can do now except talk about him and keep his spirit alive. It's always been the finality of death that's messed with me the most. You could have something just rock your whole life, you get this news that rocks your whole world, and then you step outside and you realize that nobody else cares. The world doesn't care. Nobody cares. They're all doing it. Nothing changes. The finality, it's just over and nothing changes. And the finality has always been something that's messed with me. It's really nice to see you in the chat, Tommy Gunn. Morgan Spooner, Jordan Alvarez props look really enticing today. There's Jay Peasy in the house. Justin McKelvey says us Celtics backers, Jimmy. We got Nate Dogg ready to go. Smart Money Bets, Joey Harb, Reginald Codes, J Dub, Johnny K, Von Polo, Jeffrey Blue, Kelly McInnes. J Dub says, so do the Elks cover. Pissy Cheerios play today's Padres money line minus 108. And Kong's Clips cash that double result. Nice work, Kong. Let me get this here locked for us. All right, it's great to see all you guys. Nut Flush, Allen, Jerry, Beatty, ready to go. Billy Freddie, that flexion's under 15.5 outs. Doug on Dodgers -1. And Troy Torrance ready to get to work here. Braves are the cash cow. Cubs first 5 money line in the over in the Brewers game. That's interesting that you're on the over in the Brewers game. Because that was the first thing I thought was, God, these two really good pitchers could get touched up today, couldn't they? Thank you for sharing that with us, Troy. I can't wait to talk about all of that. So, spreadsheet dog play today is the Guardians plus 125. Let's get that copied and pasted here. Guardians plus 125. And it is time to get to work here. Time to get to work here. So, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have the Belmont at the Big A full card from Razor Sharp Picks. Thank you for sharing that with us, Razor. Full card here from our guy Razor Sharp Picks. Let me make sure I got that copied and pasted. Okay, let's get into CFL. Now, it's up to me to make this worthwhile, opening these shows with CFL. It's up to me. When I went 0-2 to start out the year with the Winnipeg money line and the unders cashed very easily. Winnipeg did not deliver. And then we had the Friday show, and there was 4 bets for me. And I knew how important it was, not just to our bankroll, but we're not going to sit here and talk about sports that aren't making us money, that aren't major sports. I know not a lot of you cap CFL, and we're taking time to do it. I know how important it is for me to succeed here, to make this worth our while, and I want it to be worth our while. So let's get to work in CFL. And let me tell you this. If I don't make you and myself money in CFL, we'll cut it. I'm not going to waste people's time. I'm not going to take money out of people's pockets. I am going to win in CFL this year. I'm going to win for me. I'm going to win for you guys. And there's going to be a reason why we open the shows with it. This is not just content for content's sake. Let's get to work here. Game 1 of the CFL card, Friday, June 14th, 9 p.m. Eastern. Montreal Alouettes 1-0 on the season. It was a very impressive 27-12 victory at Winnipeg to open the season. Maybe a little less impressive after watching the Blue Bombers look so bad against the Red Blacks last night. Let's get into the line history. I have bets on each and every one of these games. And let me just say one more time that this is not content for content's sake. I want to win. I want to win badly. I want to win for me, and I want to win for you. Right now, the Elks are at Pinnacle at +5. They opened up at +6, went to 5.5, and they're at 5. Now, if you want Edmonton at +5, it's -120. You see 4.5s and 4s on the board. There's been a move towards the Elks. When we get into the total here on this one, we have a 47.5. This opened up at 48.5, and it only lasted there. I guess it lasted there for about 5 hours before it moved to 48, which is now 47.5. We've already heard Slatsy on that Elks team total under, which I really like. I just don't know if I want to triple up on this football game. I moved on the first half under 24.5 and the full game under 48.5. I moved on these bets on Monday. So the Alouettes have 2 extra days of rest and prep than the Elks. But the Elks didn't have to travel after their season opening 29-21 loss at Commonwealth to the Rough Riders. This Alouettes defense looks like an absolute juggernaut. They look like monsters. After holding the Bombers to 12 points in the opener, they've allowed 15.8 points per game over their last 10, dating back to last year. You already heard from Slatsy. He's on the 23-year-old wide receiver Tyson Philpott, over 67.5 receiving yards. He went for 141 yards in the opener. Tyson Philpott is the son of Corey Philpott, who I was a very big fan of, won a Grey Cup for the Lions in 1994. Tyson's twin brother, Jalen, also in the CFL, also a wide receiver, drafted higher than Tyson, but Tyson is the guy that we think is going to bounce out. We have slot back Tyler Snead hurt and Reggie White Jr. I know when I say to you Reggie White Jr., you guys think, Jesus, is his dad the Hall of Famer for the Packers? No. But Reggie White Sr. did play in the NFL. Did play in the NFL for 4 years. It's not the best when you have the same name as a Hall of Famer. But Reggie White Jr. is hurt, and so is Snead. So I get why Philpott is going to be the target, and you'd think that Chris Jones would be able to set up a defense for that. You really would. I did not find the Alouettes offense overwhelming. That the trick play when the belief of the Bombers were that, the Owls were going to start running the football, the flea flicker for a touchdown, to Tyson Philpott was a big part of the offense. I was not overwhelmed by the Alouettes offense, and I don't know how you can be overwhelmed by a Cody Fajardo-led offense. So I bet the Elks over 7.5 wins. I have a lot of faith in Chris Jones riding this Elk ship, and it's cost me money. Maybe I shouldn't, but clearly the market's moved from 6 to 4. Clearly the market believes in this spot. And, the Elks were up 18-8 going into the fourth quarter. Now, in the over 7.5 wins that I bet on the Elks, I was counting week 1 as an expected win. Now, I also have the Argos over 9.5 wins, and I wasn't sure that week 1 against the Lions was going to be a win. I do not want McLeod Bethel-Thompson at quarterback. I want Trey Ford at quarterback, but MBT went 33 of 42 for 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. What I couldn't comprehend from the offense was Kevin Brown getting 7 rushes for 23 yards. I don't you're up 18-8. What are you doing? And McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Bo Levi Mitchell, these guys are game managers. It's not acceptable. And I know that Chris Jones has been talking all week about how that was a coaching mistake. So you got to expect Kevin Brown to roll here. 186 carries for 1,141 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, can you roll against this Alouettes defense? No, you can't. With the market moving towards the Elks, I guess I don't move on the team total under, but just because I don't want to triple up on it. I do think this possibly is a spot where I should do it. I'm not going to. I'm on the first half under 24.5 and the full game under 48.5, minus 110 and minus 111 respectively. But there you go. That's the action for me tonight. Double up on the under. And I'm going to leave off that Elks team total under just because I don't want to triple up. But you've probably nailed it. So, I mean, if the market wasn't moving towards, why is this line not changing either? I keep going back to it. The line keeps moving towards the Elks, but the team total doesn't move off the 20.5. And I guess they don't want to move it over the 21. Okay, so that's it. So I've doubled up there. We're not going to take too long on these spots. I'm just going to tell you my action, and we can move on. Next up for us, Saturday, June 15th, I moved on the Stampeders plus 9.5. This is a wildly interesting football game. Now, the market is with me on this. They are moving in the Stampeders direction, and the Lions destroy the Stampeders nonstop. Right now, this total is at 50.5, minus 112 to the over. It opened minus 113 to the over. There's been no movement on that total. And on the spread, we are now sitting with an 8. There are 7.5s on the board, but this is an 8. And I got 9.5. I got it at 365. It wasn't available on Monday at Pinnacle. And I'm going to be trying to get all my action out on Monday so that we can beat these line moves. Lions owner Amar Dolman is doing big things. So 50 Cent is doing the pre-game concert, and this game's going to sell out. It hasn't quite sold out yet, but it's going to sell out. And the Lions did not look good in that season opening 35-27 loss to Toronto. Look, that made me very happy. We made a lot of money on it, and we also got live in at the plus 15.5 on the Argos. I probably could have taken the money line for 10-1, but put a safe way out of it. The Lions turned the ball over 5 times. The offensive line was an atrocity. Matthew Betts, we know, most outstanding player, Montreal native, has gone to the Detroit Lions. He's going to crack the 53-man roster. And he was at the game. He went to the game. What a guy Matthew Betts is. I mean, I'm going to get a Lions jersey with Matthew Betts on it. He's the next Cam Wake. I mean, I really like him. And they were missing him. Covington did not step up. Woody Barron and David Menard also gone from this defensive line rotation. 4 new starters in the secondary. The secondary looked terrible. No Marcus Sales. He was very noticeable that he wasn't out there. But yes, the Lions routinely beat up on the Stamps. That's what they do. They beat up on the Stamps. Calgary 1-4 against spread in the last 5 matchups. The West semifinal was a joke. William Stanback only ran 11 times last week. You know, all this talk about what James Butler did to the Stamps. Look, the Stamps were in control of that football game, and they were in pass defense so that they wouldn't allow big scores. Yeah, James Butler ran 13 times for 119 yards, but a lot of them were garbage runs when the Stamps were in a dime package. So I don't take too much into that, but a lot of people are saying, well, watch what Stanback does. Watch what Stanback does. The Stamps opened up with that season opening 32-24 home victory over the Ticats. We were on the Stampeders. I was in Newkirk, nobody else. Every article, everybody was on the Ticats, and I couldn't understand it. Who has a better chance of having a better season this year, Jake Mayer or Bo Levi Mitchell? Of course, it's the 27-year-old, not the guy who was bumped by Matt Schultz in the playoffs. It was shocking to me, and now I'm backing the Tiger Cats on Sunday, but. Dedrick Mills was a monster. Jake Mayer was 21-26 for 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and his coach is a CFL Hall of Famer, quarterback, Craig Dickinson. So I think he's going to get better as the season goes on. Joseph Alvarado says Stamps will cover. Now, we'll see. We'll see. I got the 9.5. It's going to be like old times with it sold out here. At BC Place. So I'm on the Stamps plus 9.5. Would I take it at 8? I guess. And again, I'm going to tweet out my action on Mondays or as soon as I possibly can each week. All right, let's move on to the final spot on the board, Sunday, June 16th. I'm on the Tiger Cats money line at minus 113. Let's take a look and see what it's at right now. This is the home opener. Bobano will be live at the game. Drunk. We love it. Shout out to our guy, Ian Cameron. It's now minus 107. So this opened up with the Ticats minus 131, and it's now minus 107. This line's moving against me. The line moved against me in the Stamps game. It didn't matter that the line moved against me. It's the home opener for the Ticats. Tim Hortons Field's going to be sold out. They come on off that disappointing 32-24 loss. It was 22-7 Stamps after 3 quarters. Tim White was kept in check, 6 catches for 55 yards. He's going to go off. Shamar Bridges caught 7 for 85. The Rough Riders coming off an impressive 29-21 win at Edmonton. Corey Mace got his first win. They look good. But I'm not high on Trevor Harris. He's a smart quarterback. He's 38. He's not ready to there's no way he's playing 18 games. When's he going to get knocked out of a game? Maybe here. Sean Bain Jr., was incredible for the Rough Riders. He caught 5 passes for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. And AJ Ouellette ran for 32 yards on 18 carries. So with all this being said, I do not agree with this market move towards the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. I don't think that Mace is going to come in and change everything for this football team. We know their problems. Maybe the Elks are a really bad football team again. I think the Stampeders at home is a much tougher matchup than the Elks at home. And Hamilton did not deliver. Saskatchewan did. Saskatchewan feels good about themselves. They're reading articles. Remember, there's only one sport in Regina, Saskatchewan. It's football. That's the only thing anybody ever talks about there, sports-wise. And they feel great about their Rough Riders and their 38-year-old quarterback and their new coach and blah, blah, blah. This is a really good football team, blah, blah, blah. They're not. And the Tiger Cats are going to beat them at home. I don't care. The market's moved against me. So there you go. That's my action here for week 2 of the CFL. I've got unders, first half under 24.5, full game under 48.5. I love Slatsy's team total under on the Elks, but I don't want to triple up. Nate Dogg, 420s on Saskatchewan money line. Go get it, Nate Dogg. It's trust your cap, believe in your cap, and get paid. Stampeders plus 9.5 for me. And then I'm on the Tiger Cats to win their home opener. And I love my card. Andrew G's on that first half under 24.5. Okay. Thank you, Billy. And look, look, if I don't succeed, I'm not going to waste time on CFL. Bobano and I did not deliver last year, and it's not good enough. And this is not content for content. This is about making money, and I'm going to do that for you and for us. All right, let's move on to Major League Baseball and bring on the star of MLB programming here on Pub Sports Radio. Also, I'll tell you something as well. Thank you, Dami. Paco Healy, we love him, man. We love him. Mally Mal says, who's the best CFL team? It's the Grey Cup champion Alouettes. How old is Bo Levi Mitchell? He's 33, Nate. He's 33. And Billy said, Jose hosted with aplomb yesterday. I've heard that. Al Cervic says, my 6-week break starts now. I'll see you for football season. Yes, you will, Al Cervic. We all are very, very excited about the NFL season. I think this pressure of the CFL and me doing this solo this year is exactly what I need. I think it's the best possible thing for me. Let's get into MLB and bring on our star coming to us from San Antonio, Texas, making his way to Dallas for the basketball game in his Celtics green. Will we ever see him again? He needs to be protected out there, and LJ's not going to be there, and Dutch is not going to be there now. So it's all on Daby Cab to protect our friend, Jose Bouquet. Please welcome him to our show right now, Mr. Jose Bouquet. Jose, how are you?
Jimmy, I'm doing good. Doing good. It's going to be a very interesting day, to say the least. Texas is big as fuck, so it's going to be a long-ass drive, and I will be rushing after this, so it's going to be very fun. But nice to see you guys in the chat. We will have a quick pace
BJ.
today.
You see BJ's comment?
BJ. BJ. Sweet baby BJ. Come on, man. What are we doing, BJ? I've tried to tell everyone all series, and you're gonna do this to me, BJ. Jimmy. The smartest thing I said yesterday, Jimmy, was that I said that this NHL series reminded me a whole lot of the NBA series, and how the Celtics are the Florida Panthers, better team. They've got McDavid, they've got Draisaitl, and I said the Florida Panthers are underdogs here. It's very interesting, and they went on to whoop their ass. So very interested to see how all this goes. But BJ, good luck. Good luck. I hope that you lose those 10 units, but good luck.
Is that a broom beside you, or part of your hair? Okay.
Of course.
So
no, it definitely looks like it would be an extension of it. And if you feel it, it'll feel the exact same too as my hair. But no, I'm ready for war. I'm ready. It's going to be a great time.
BJ, you do seem a little softer around the edges today.
I have a long day ahead of me. I can't blow my load right now. I have to blow it in the parking lot.
Baby BJ,
poor sweet baby BJ. I feel bad.
Think he likes to be called that. I'm just guessing.
Probably. I don't like watching him lose money. So we'll see what happens tonight. BJ, I wish you the worst of luck, and I don't want you to fall into the trap that Kyrie Irving has set for everyone. So
sweet baby BJ. I love that he's dropping 10 units to add another level of interest in this basketball game. But let's get to work in MLB, Jose. I was not here yesterday, so I couldn't tell you guys about Alec Marsh. You know how much I love Alec Marsh.
Yeah, I fell in for the trap.
Well, you know what? In all honesty, I was trying, because I didn't bet it. I was, not in a good way. But I think I would have screwed myself and bet the first three. I really do. I think that would have been a push for me. I don't know if I would, but I would have had to have looked at first 5 plus a half, which I hope I would have done. But honestly, it is what it is. How did you do yesterday?
I went 2-2, but I got fucking screwed on a pitching change. And Justin McKelvey donated a membership. Shout out to you, Justin. I won't charge you the stake because he wanted a stake bet with me yesterday. Castillo versus Crochet. I took the White Sox. I had them first 5 plus a half. Shout out to Pig Milk. That was what it was yesterday. And then the line movement was ridiculous to them full game. So I took it. and then fucking good old Emerson Foot Penis canceled my bets. So I'll cancel the steak bet, Justin. I appreciate the Pub Sports membership though that you donated, but yeah, it was a good day. I would have went 4-2 if those bets would have went in. I probably would have been just a little under a unit of profit, or a little under unit down actually. So seeing the board well, can't complain. And I'm cashing on those pitching props, by the way, Jimmy. It's funny. If you just look at the bullpen and just notice how fucking gassed they are, and you realize that that team needs that starting pitcher to go quite a while, you just bet the outs. Bet the outs over. It worked out yesterday with Lorenzen. That was great. It was a bonus that he pitched really well. We took that cash with it. So I'm going to keep trying to see if I can do that and roll with it as well. So, and then the best part about it is if that starting pitcher doesn't go that far, we're not the only people that are furious. That manager is fucking pissed that he has to take his starter out and use his already exhausted bullpen enough. So, yeah, those are all just interesting things from yesterday, but ready to get after it because I am on a short time today, unfortunately.
Yes, you are leaving here in an hour and 25 minutes. Do you have to leave before then?
No, I can leave at noon.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. Well, let's roll here. Morgan Spooner, he says, talking about these, WNBA, KBO, CFL, do they deserve the same airtime here, though? No, they don't. And I promise my CFL will be less than 15 minutes. They're never going to get the same airtime. We don't give WNBA the same airtime. We don't give any of them the same airtime. So you can say, should they even be spoken about? That would help, what you said there, because we're certainly not giving it the same airtime.
And a lot of people, by the way, asking for Euros coverage in soccer. Obviously, that starts today. Shout out to Germany. I will just give you guys this. Albania, Italy tomorrow. I think that's an over game. Albania plays super wide open. Italy, obviously, very good. Albania, not very good, but they play wide open enough. They want to attack that I think that both teams can score some goals. So I would bet the over in that game. Nothing for today.
Well, let's... and if you guys want that, I'll get it. So let me see how many people in the chat right now. Let's ask you, how many people in the chat want Euro coverage here on the show? Because if there's enough of you, we'll do it. This is your show. And that's the best thing about Jeff is it gives us complete autonomy to do whatever we want to do. So if you guys want it, we can get it. So let me know. Let's get to work here. Jose, 2:20 p.m. Eastern. We have Lamont Williams getting us started with a Max Cardinals. Make a poll. That's a good idea, John. Jose, you want to make a poll while we're setting this one up? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay. And again, if Morgan's like, if you guys are like, look, we don't want any CFL coverage, that's fine too. But if I can make us money, we're going to talk about it. So we'll see how it all bangs out. But let's go here. 72 Fahrenheit at Wrigley, 10 miles per hour in. Stays between 10 miles per hour and 10.8 miles per hour at Wrigley. We have Kyle Gibson going up against Jordan Wicks, the lefty. Now, Jordan Wicks was out with that forearm injury. So he made his first appearance since April 23rd. And he came in out of the bullpen after Ben Brown. And it wasn't. It was a fine performance here. 3 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, 1 walk. It was a good performance. Jordan Wicks has not had a great start to the season. 4.44 ERA, 1.48 WHIP, but 30 Ks over 26 1/3, and he's only allowed 2 jacks. The Cards are actually starting to hit lefties. In fact, Jose, could you give us what the Cards have done against lefties, WRC, in the last 14 days? Because I was surprised that they were hitting 251 now since May 15th. All my stats are since May 15th. I don't have with the 251, 692 OPS. I was surprised that they didn't have a power with that high average. Cubs versus righties just 224, 684 OPS. It's not been good. So, Jose, do you have that info?
Yeah, they are. I'm just checking to see if I was muted there. They are 25th, and obviously we're 14 days into June, so I'm just using the start of June. 25th, 113 plate appearances, 84 weighted runs created plus, 257 average.
Just no power at all.
Yeah, OPS of 638.
No power whatsoever. A very, very, very interesting. All right, let's talk about the line history and then hand it over to our guy, Jose. And we have double-barreled action here in NBA with both Brizzy and LJ from HTown. But here we go. Line history wise, and I will be using the Pinnacle openers. Jose will be using the Bet Online openers. This opened up at minus 120 and is now minus 125. 5 cents of movement towards the Cubs. This line came out at 8:10 this morning at Pinnacle. So there's not been a ton of movement, and there was no movement towards the Cubs till about an hour ago. So we have 5 cents of movement towards the Cubs on the total here. We have it sitting at a 7.5 with minus 116 to the under. We know that wind talks sometimes too loudly when we talk about Wrigley Field, but it's moved from 8 to 7.5. That 7.5 is heavily juiced to the under, which implies that sevens are coming now, which implies that Wicks and Kyle Gibson are going to pitch well. Let's touch on the bullpens here. So we have the Cubbies bullpen that's not been good. Actually, that hasn't been horrible, but 1.29 whip here, 3.83 xFIP. That's all since May 15th. And then we have the St. Louis Cardinals, who've been slightly better. Take it away, Jose. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I've got no action on this game. I don't trust a Jordan Wicks appearance here for me. I and Kyle Gibson. I've gone back and forth on Kyle Gibson, honestly, and how good he is. I've backed him this year and made some cash on him, which is great. But I just don't love either of these two NL Central teams, honestly, right now. Yeah, I just ended up staying off this game pretty simply. Not much to say, I guess, but we're going to be very interested to see because there's 69% of the bets and 94% of the money on the Cubs. Here, the line's kind of slightly moving their way. But I personally would lean Cardinals here. So we'll see how that goes. But no action officially for me.
Yeah, I get it. And I get and thank you for mentioning what was going on in the cash flow. Sorry, I didn't have my public betting up.
No worries. And by the way, Troy Torrance obviously knows this Cubs team. He's saying Cubs worst bullpen in baseball. Never bet Cubs full game.
69% of tickets, 94% of cash on those Cubbies. 67% of tickets, 68% cash on the over. You know, it does feel sort of like the market's telling us that these pitchers are going to pitch well. Dommy Gun says Gibson has a bunch of quality starts. Cubs strike rate 25% versus righties. Fernando Mendoza on the Cubs and the under. Troy Torrance says if all the Cubs games ended in the 7th inning, they would be 49-19. Jesus, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to move here, but the max bet from Lamont Williams was Cardinals' first 5 money line going up against Troy Torrance. Let's move on to your Boston Red Sox. Now, you called BJ your baby boy. We know who your real baby boy is. And
no, I didn't. By the way, he's not my baby boy. He's not specifically mine. He's just a sweet baby boy today because he's betting the Mavs. Brian Bayo is, but he's failing me recently.
He has been bad. He has been bad. And I wonder if do you think going up against Luis Gil is exactly what he needs to get right?
I think going up against the Yankees mainly will be hopefully. And this game is in red, so we'll see. But the Red Sox, they won a game from the series, or won a series against the Phillies. It was nice to see. Momentum building. I still think this team is extremely average, and I said yesterday that the Red Sox would win. I bet them yesterday. That was awesome. But every time they cannot go 1 or 2 games above 500 without going right back down. And they're a game above 500 right now. And this is obviously a tough game. So, but I'll continue on.
This game is not going to get through 9 innings. If there's a thunderstorm to start this game, like if there's because it's the thunderstorms for the first 2 hours, they won't start it because.
Well, on top of that, Jimmy, they're fucking begging for this game to be postponed, whatever, because they know that no Boston fan is going to be watching this fucking game tonight. Not a fucking person. They've already moved this game up 45 minutes to try to accommodate. They are fucking begging this game to be rained out right now.
I guess that is an interesting point as well. Let's cap it though, just to do due diligence. I I don't think this game. There's for sure rain and showers and all that, but it's around 9 or 10 that's supposed to happen. There's thunderstorms before then. We have Luis Heel, who's been very good. Now he wasn't very good in his last start, but my goodness, has he been excellent this year? 2.04 ERA, 0.93 WHIP. 90 strikeouts over 75 innings. On the road, 3-1, 2.57 ERA, 151 opponent's batting average. Going up against Bayo, who's not looked good. He did not look good at the White Sox. He's been better at home, quite a bit better than he's been on the road. At home, 3.68 ERA, 262 opponent's batting average. It's amazing how hard the Red Sox are hitting righties right now. If you look back to May 15th, they're basically hitting them as hard as the Yankees, which I was very, very surprised to read. And then when we get to these bullpens, the Yankees bullpen is not being good. We have a vividness bias of them being excellent. 4.15 ERA since May 15th. They've been struggling. Right now, you have opponents hitting, 231, but 369 slugging. And this was a dominant bullpen earlier in the year, and it's not been. Boston has been better since May 15th out of the bullpen, and hitting righties the same way. Very, very interesting. Dommy Gunn says same in New York. Weather says storms after 7 p.m. So, Goran Nikovsky, thank you, man. I love hearing that. So let's take a look at the cash flow in the line history and hear what Jose has planned. This total opened up at 8.5 at some books. It opened up at 9 at Pinnacle last night at 9 p.m. It got up to 9.5, dropped back to 9. Got up to 9.5, dropped back to 9. It's back at 9 right now. Still 12 cents of movement on that over. And on the money line here for this one, we have these Boston Red Sox and Brian Bayo sitting at plus 138. They opened up at plus 134. They got up to plus 150. It was plus 150 at 4:30 in the morning. It was plus 152 at 7:10 in the morning. And it's come all the way back to plus 138. And then cash-wise here for this one, 89% of the tickets, 89% cash on the over, and 83% of tickets, 95% cash on the New York Yankees. Jose Bouquet, take it away.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stay off this game in hope that it gets canceled today or doubleheader tomorrow, whatever we're going to do here. Here's the thing. Luis Heel, great start to the season. Great, AL Rookie of the Year leader right now. That's going to slow down. He is going to, eventually wear down. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Yankees just decided to, do the whole pitch count thing, blah, 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 blah. He's already at his career high in the majors for pitch count. So we'll see how much he goes or how much further he goes. I'm going to be very interested to watch this game if it happens. Because like I said, I think the Red Sox are starting to, find their form, getting healthier. And I like this team. And it's just an average bunch right now, and they continue to be 500. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they lost today to remain 500. But let's just say against these teams that they're big underdogs against, I'll be taking the Red Sox at points. Now, the issue, Jimmy, and I'm sure people have noticed this, especially people that go to Fenway, now it's like 60% other people's fans every game. It is disgusting, mainly because, A, obviously no one wants to watch this Red Sox team now with the Celtics going. B, John Henry is a dickhead and has just alienated a lot of people. And C, people love going to Fenway Park. A lot of Yankees fans are going to be there. The Red Sox don't really play well at home. So I stayed off this game. I do, in fact, lean Yankees, I guess, at the end of the day. But I will take the Red Sox at some point this series. And it sucks. These are the times where I miss my guy, Jimmy. I miss my guy, Garrett Cole. I would love for him to pitch against the Red Sox at some point, because that would be, I'd know what I'd bet. I wouldn't have to sweat anything. I could just type in Red Sox and Rafael Devers home run. So I've got no action, but I'll be interested to watch this game as everyone else. Hopefully it doesn't go, though. We'll get a doubleheader tomorrow.
I think that is probably what's going to happen. Troy Torrance, first full cycle First full cycle of all sports for a year, just a hair under 100 units up. What a performance.
Wait, what? There's another NBA game tonight. Troy, is he not betting them? He's not betting the Mavericks?
He has shut down.
Troy.
As Stimmy
I hate
OG
to hear
says,
that.
everybody on the Oilers' first 3 games. I don't know. Certainly not talking about this show. That my monologue on the series on why the Panthers were going to win this series easily was how 10 minutes, Jose? That 15-minute monologue?
Yeah, I mean, if you put together all of my yellings for the last like 2 weeks about how the Celtics were going to dominate this series, it might be, I don't know, 20 minutes of incoherentness, but we've been spot on these playoffs, huh?
Well, no, I did leave money on the table with the Mavs in Game 3, but
we won't talk about that, no, and we won't mention the fact that you were up 21-9 and immediately started talking shit to me immediately.
Watching you lose
no
the race to 10 was
unprovoked
laugh out loud.
actions.
It was laugh out loud funny watching you lose the race to 10. It was very, very funny, very, very funny. But yeah, no, Stimmy, the spite bets against Mikey Money and Rod Zawacki on the Oilers were extremely enjoyable. As enjoyable as I can remember. Because when you go up against the best cappers, it brings the best out of you, man. Let's roll on here. Next up for us, 6:45 p.m. Eastern, we have the Miami Marlins 23-45, 11-20 on the road. At the Washington Nationals, 32-36, 13-17 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Max Meyer, is he listed now as the pitcher?
That'd be a great question.
Let's see if they have they don't have Max Meyer listed. I think it's going to be Max Meyer. RotoWire has Max Meyer listed. First round pick in the 2020 draft, 3rd overall out of University of Minnesota. Now, we have seen Max Meyer start 3 games, so I don't know why they wouldn't be announcing it right now. He's been excellent. This kid is a really, really dynamite pitcher. In 3 starts here, he's gone 17 innings. He's allowed 2 jacks, but that's only 4 earned runs over those 17 innings. He struck out 14. He's only walked 3. This guy's the real deal. Now, he didn't look good in AAA. I mean, how often do we see this, Jose? I mean, he's coming back from TJ. He didn't pitch last year, but how often do we see these pitchers with these ridiculously high numbers, whether it be ERA or WHIP or whatever you choose to look at, come in and shove in the minute? I mean, it just happens so often. So often. Mackenzie Gore on the other side of Max Meyer. We think it's Max Meyer. Mackenzie Gore, 5-5, 3.57 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. The Marlins don't hit lefties at all. 248, 655 OPS. And Mackenzie Gore has been worse, quite clearly worse at home than he's been on the road. 40 in the 3rd innings at home, points hitting 297 against them. Coming off a 7-3 win at home versus the Braves, where he pitched very well. 1 earned run, 2 runs, but 1 earned, 5 innings, 7 Ks, and 1 walk. I love it, Zoe. I love hearing that, my man. So, and Domi says not either. Panthers toyed with the Rangers. I mean, that wasn't that the key thing. If it wasn't for Shesty, the Rangers get swept in 4 games. So let's get into the line history here for this one. Now, as the Marlins can't hit lefties, the same, and that's not hitting righties. Those both go hand in hand here. And when we talk about bullpens, the Miami Marlins bullpen since May 15th has been outstanding. Very, very, very good. While the Washington bullpen is doing exactly what we expected them to do. ERA over 5, ugly WHIP, not pitching well. So the Marlins now have a big and remember last year, Jose, and even the year before, I would say I believe the Marlins bullpen's better than the numbers indicate, and it never came to fruition. It looks like finally that is happening. So let's go. Line history here for Marlins and Nationals. We have the Nats at -161. Should the Nats be that big of a favorite against anybody in the league? I mean, no. This totals at 8.5 -114 to the under. If Meyer is pitching, why wouldn't we look 4 and under? Because I don't think Gore's going to get lit up and smoked. And 8.3 miles per hour left to right slightly, and 88 Fahrenheit at first pitch. It does die down to 77. Starts getting cooled pretty quickly out there. UPK Yashiala, our guy Robert Cherry says, is me or the Nationals looking pretty damn good? Yeah, they are looking pretty damn good. 32 and 36, better than we expected. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquet, Marlins, Nats.
Yeah, I lead Nationals here. Obviously, pitching matchup kind of up in the air. We know the Marlins suck against lefties. Nationals against righties last 2 weeks specifically. 323 plate appearances, obviously a good sample size. 15th, 97 weighted runs created plus. So not horrible. Not horrible. I lean Nationals here, but Big Daddy Boom saying Nationals are minus 165 for him. That's a little much. I lean Nationals. I just don't think I'm going to get a price that's going to be bettable for me. So kind of up in the air pitching matchup. But yeah, Nationals for me.
Really? But are you going to go to the window with them at this price?
No, it's too juicy for me.
So if it's Max Meyer, do you think that these pitchers can handle this, at least first three?
Again, I've struggled having these first 5 totals. I've been getting crushed. Like yesterday, I bet a first 5 with both of our guys, Jimmy Canning versus Fott, and got over by 1 run, unfortunately. And it was literally only Christian Walker who hit 2 home runs off of Canning too, which was
he's just a monster right now.
Oh,
I mean, that guy is just that he could be the number 1 hitter in. I mean, Soto is such a monster, but I mean he's hitting like Judge and Soto right now.
They need it too because the Diamondbacks need all they can get. But yeah, I think they can hold it together. It's just the issue is I don't know who's pitching for the Marlins, and if it is indeed Max Meyer, I consider it, but I need to see the markets and everything as well and see how they all develop.
Very few tickets in. 90% of tickets, 92% of cash on the Nats, and 67% of tickets, 59% cash on the over. I'm going to be interested in backing Meyer. And if I'm too afraid to fade Gore, then I will look at the first 5 under. I don't want anything to do. And with the way this Marlins bullpen's pitching right now, I mean, I don't understand why the Marlins aren't live full game. Honestly.
Yeah, I would rather have Nats first 5 if I was betting them here, meaning full game would be a little more dicey.
Coin saying that the Cubs total is now 7 across the board right now. 7 across the board. Okay, well, obviously this is going to need more work, but I'm starting to find the fish more and more appealing in this spot, but I don't want to fade Mackenzie Gore. So maybe it's just the first 5. It's going to take more time here. Let's move on to our next spot on the board, and it is our first guest starring game from our guy, Mr. Cadabra. So we have him locked and ready to go. The star of Medicate Mondays here on Pub Sports Radio. Also, will be hosting a bunch of cats for the basketball game tonight. Now, the Maverick backers have canceled, which makes Jose very happy. The Maverick backers have canceled. I wonder what Dabby has to say about that. Please welcome to the show the Magic Man, Mr. Dabra Cadabra. Dabby, how are you?
Oh, man. I'm good, Jimmy. I got the day off regardless because I didn't schedule any lessons, so I don't have any pitching lessons. So I'm just going to gamble today, and hang out. Everybody else backed out, but we're still going to have a good time, man. We're still going to have a good time.
Yes. Now, you guys are who is going to be there? Jose, you, Jeff? Is it the 3 of you guys?
Tease or not Tease?
I don't know. Is Jeff even still coming?
I don't know. I haven't talked to Jeff, but Tehran, aka T, is coming with us.
I mean, everybody's canceled, Jimmy.
Yeah, big T. See, that's why, Cab, that's why I had to financially invest in an Airbnb, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be coming either.
Listen, Dutch wanted to get a ticket for game 4, and I stopped him from doing that before game 3. So he's welcome. I just want to say that.
Well, I mean, I tried to get Dutch to stop betting the Mavericks, and,
he was like, tickets are only 700 something. I was like, shut the fuck up, man. No.
Well, Dutch, don't worry. They're going down 600 now. You can they're going down. Not many people want to go, Dutch. Not many people want to go.
Well, let's talk about the situation in front of us. 7:05 p.m. Eastern with the Philadelphia Phillies, 46-22, 19-12 on the road at the Baltimore Orioles, 45-23, 23-13 at home. The 2 best teams in Major League Baseball. I think the Yankees would have something to say about that. But 2 of the best 3 teams in Major League Baseball going at it here at Camden in Charm City, home of the Von Polo family. We have 85 Fahrenheit, 9 miles per hour in, and then it gets very heavy. 15 miles per hour after an hour. 6 miles. I'm going to refresh and see if that changes at all. But then the wind gets very heavy in Baltimore. It's changed a bit. So now but this is going to trick gamblers a bit because 6.7 miles per hour at first pitch, and then 13.4 miles per hour within an hour. Closes at 13.7 miles per hour. Again, that's why I think Swish helps, because you don't want to just know what the wind is going to be at first pitch. Let's get into the line history of this big one. We have this total at 7. Wow. Unbelievable. It's gone down a full run. Opened up at 8, 9:01 p.m. yesterday. Got to 7.5 at 10:19 p.m. So hour 18 later. Then it pumps back up to 8. But then it hits 7.5 for a while at 11. It never comes back. Oh, no, it did come back. Jesus. I didn't realize that. It came back again at 2:20 and 4:52 in the morning. Wow. Now it is a 7. We've dropped a full run. Ooh, it's going to have a playoff type feel to this one. We have the Orioles at minus 125. Exactly where, they opened at minus 124. I was very curious what they would put this line at. And we know what the Orioles do to lefties. I thought that would move the market in the Orioles' direction. That has not been the case. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. 94% of tickets, 93% of cash on the over. My goodness. 75% of tickets, 76% of cash on the Orioles, and this line is not moving. Mally Mal liking the Orioles money line. Robert Cherry on the Orioles money line. Professor Chris laid the 1.5 with the O's at plus 165. Wow. So Suarez, 10-1, 1.81 ERA, 0.85 whip. He's been spectacular. Coming off a 7-2 win at home versus the Mets, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks, 1 walk. On the road, 167 opponents batting average, 2.04 ERA. He's been so good. Now Bradish has 34 1/3 innings under his belt, and he's coming off a spectacular performance at the Trop in St. Petersburg. 6 innings, 1 hit, 9 Ks, no walks. And the Phillies aren't hitting righties. 242, 681 OPS, not hitting righties. So what are they going to do to Kyle Bradish here? And then when we get to the bullpen, we've talked about it a lot, how good this Philadelphia bullpen has looked. So take it away for us, Daby Cab, your best bet.
Yeah, Bradish, like you said, he had a great game last week against the Rays. Only 1 hit and 6 walks. He had 9 strikeouts there. They gave him 2 extra days of rest here for this game also because he's coming back off that elbow injury still. And I know he looked great, but elbow injuries are always something to be cautious with. That's why they pulled him, after 88 pitches in that last game. And it'll be the same thing today. I mean, they're not going to let him run it up to 100. He's not getting a bill. I mean, they might let him go into the 80s again, which you can do a lot with, 88 pitches. But, even with the struggles the Phillies have had against right-handers this season, I think like anything, we see it regress to the norm. I think this is a big game. Phillies are coming off 2 losses. I think they're going to push the count deep in the count. I think they're going to be selective at the plate. They know Bradish's swing and miss rate. They know how good he is at getting whiffs. So what you got to do when a pitcher does that is you got to work the count. You got to have an approach at the plate, and I think the Phillies are going to do just that. I'm not saying that I think they're going to come out here and put up, 6 runs off Bradish, but I think they can get a couple. And if they can get a couple off him, I think they can get a couple off the bullpen. Phillies team total over 3.5. And if you want to look at what the Phillies have done, if you set their team total at 3.5, obviously it's very rarely that low. It's usually a 4.5, sometimes even higher. But talking about, how many times in the last 25 games they've scored 4 runs, it's 18. They've scored 4 runs in 18 out of their last 25 games. That's 72% of their games. And like I said, I know Bradish is the man. Orioles might even win this game 5-4 and it goes over, but I still think the Phillies get 4 runs here. So Phillies team total over 3.5. I got it at minus 108. You can get it at plus 102 right now. I just saw. So, but I still like it. I don't care.
Yeah, it's moving just because this total's dropping like a rock. So it's plus 103 now at Pinnacle. Jose Bouquet, we have Daby Cab on the Phillies team total over. What's your plan of action?
Yeah, I'm, I guess call me Square Bouquet. I'm going to take the over in this game. And shout out to Mikey Money. We've talked about this trend before. Total dropping a full run. it goes over, for whatever reason. I don't know why. I know it's a very public play, but I'm going to take the full game over 7 here. Both these offenses are good. Both these offenses can get to both these starting pitchers, I believe, and the bullpens both suck as well. So
Why do you say that they suck?
the bullpens?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one on these. Well, the Phillies is a little better. Alvarado is a quality closer that I can put my faith in sometimes, and Gregory Soto. But it's just the Orioles bullpen is horrific, and I can bring up specific bullpen numbers to not just talk out of my ass
Yeah,
here.
do that
Hopefully,
because the numbers. What I'm looking at is clearly a top 10 bullpen since May 15th, with Philly being the best bullpen in the league since that time. Now you could say the Guardians has been slightly better, but these are top bullpens. So what am I missing?
I just think, I think bullpens comes in waves and flows. Like we have obviously a point right now where the Marlins bullpen is pitching really well. And I think that's going to drop off eventually as well. The Phillies just don't inspire confidence when it comes to the bullpen in regular season, especially because when it comes to the postseason, apparently all their fireballers just throw 100 past the Braves every time, and it works out for them here. And the Orioles, as Dami Gum said, have been mashing bullpens apparently past the 7th inning this year as well. So it's more of me believing in an Orioles offense versus the Phillies bullpen, and the opposite way as well. I will trust the Phillies to get runs off the Orioles bullpen as well.
But are there statistics that back up what you said about how shit these two bullpens are?
All right, so I just went down to split the bullpens here, and we have a 345 FIP here for ye old Phillies, and we have a 314 average. No, sorry, that was XFIP and 314 FIP here. So no, stats are good. Stats are good here. 10 plus Ks per 9. I just don't believe in them here in the regular season at all.
And you're backing them to win the World Series.
Yeah, because when the postseason comes, everyone just wants the guys that throw chundos 100 past the Braves every time, because that's what's happened the last 2 postseasons. The last 2 postseasons these teams face, and the Braves bullpen can never catch up to 100 heat, and it's happened the last 2 years, and I think it'll happen again.
Very, very interesting stuff, Jose. Very interesting stuff. So what did you get the over 7 at?
Minus 110.
Over 7 at minus 110. And Daby Cab has the Phillies team total over 3.5 at minus 110 as well. Yeah, I just I'm sort of thrown for a loop. This heavy movement to the under, the heavy wind to the under, now the total is so low that I don't want the under. Kong's Clip says nobody's mentioned the fact that Suarez is throwing to a new catcher. Definitely going to be a problem.
Yep.
And that came into your cap as well, Jose.
Yeah, so I forgot who mentioned it earlier. Someone mentioned it as well, and then the guy earlier this week as well. I think it was Kelly mentioning it, just hammering it over the head, and we saw Nola and Wheeler both struggle against the Red Sox here without JT. Now, I think obviously Garrett Stubbs is capable, and I think it might take maybe 1-2 times around the rotation to really get comfortable here, but I definitely do think that that's a factor. And obviously JT Realmuto's defense back there with his arm, very helpful.
Interesting action from our cappers on screen. J-Dub, Doug, Ron Crawford, Morgan Spooner, Dust Hen, Jay Peasy. We have Kelsey, Billy Friedrich, Professor Chris, everybody getting together to get this cash here today. And Jay Peasy says, who is available for the Phillies bullpen? Do you have that info for us?
Okay. Yeah, I'll start with the Phillies, like you said here. Gregory Soto, not available. 48 pitches last 2 days. Spencer Turnbull is in the bullpen. He threw 38 on Wednesday. Jose Ruiz threw 13 and 14 last 2 days. He will not go. Oren Kirkring, 21 pitches. He's not going to go. Well, I'm not going to say that. I could see him going. 21 pitches is not too much. Alvarado will be available. Hasn't thrown since Tuesday. Jeff Hoffman threw yesterday, only 15. Matt Strom will be available, and so will Sir Anthony Dominguez as well. So most of their big guys, like I said, Alvarado, Strom, and Sir Anthony, those are like their top three. They'll all be available today. For the Orioles here, Brian Baker threw 32 yesterday. Seal, I don't know how to say his name. Perez threw 19 yesterday. I kind of expect him to be down because he threw 12 on Tuesday. But guys like Kimbrel, I think will be available. He threw 12 on Wednesday, didn't throw yesterday. Cano didn't throw Wednesday or Thursday and threw only 6 pitches on Tuesday. So he will be available as well. So, just if you just list those names, like Cano is the only guy in that Orioles bullpen that I truly have faith in. And I only believe in Alvarado and sometimes Sir Anthony Dominguez on the Phillies.
This is the big game of the day. Great cap from our guys. Cab, do you want to touch on anything before we move on to the next game?
Yeah, for sure. Somebody said something. I think it was Vitalis said something about yesterday. Listen, you guys can track whatever you want, but if I don't bet something, I don't give a shit what happens afterwards. Okay. So don't come at me about losing money on something that I didn't bet. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
what'd you not bet yesterday?
I don't know, because yesterday I said I would have liked the Pirates first 5, right?
Well,
and that would have pushed. So I don't know what he's talking about. So,
well, let's touch on your Phillies record before we move on to the game, because it is outstanding. 16.
What's your record? Yeah.
I got a glitch. What did you guys ask me?
Oh, your record in Philadelphia Phillies games.
16-1. 7-1 on here, 16-1 on the year.
Put the record on the line today.
I love it. I love it. All right, Daby Cab will be joining us for 2 more spots. He's on the Padres game, so he will be joining us here shortly. Dabra Cadabra, Phillies team total over 3.5. Jose on the over 7. I thought you were undefeated here. I
am, Jimmy.
You're 7-0. Yeah, you're 7-0 on our show on Phillies. That loss did not happen on our watch. You're undefeated here.
It happened the day after then with Jose on Saturday. That's what it was.
Yeah, you're 7-0 with me, and you're on the over. Jose on the over 7 -110. We will see you. Actually, you know what, Dabby? I want you here for this game. I want you here for this next game because I have. Oh, and it leads into the Padres game, so don't leave. Next up for us, 7:07 p.m. Eastern with the Cleveland Guardians, 43-23, 22-15 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays, 33-35, 16-15 at home at Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. I will, step up to Mikey Money with what he's been saying about Kevin Gausman. And the home and road splits, and also backing Gausman off of a complete game shutout, which was the first of his career, does not appeal to me. What's going on with Gausman, his splits at home, opponents are hitting .321 against him with a 6.68 ERA. Do you think that's in Gausman's head as a former professional pitcher, Daby Cab? Is that something he is thinking about as he's on his way to the ball club or to the stadium today?
Hell no. Absolutely not. No. No. Listen, if you look at what he's done this year, Jimmy, it's been like feast or famine. He's either given up 0 or 1 runs or 6, right? He's a sinker ball thrower, right? Mm-hmm. He's getting a little older. If that ball's getting up in the zone, what he's thinking about is get the fucking ball down in the zone so I don't give up the long ball. The fact he has a 4 ERA with how many games he's blown up this year is insane. So, like I said, feast or famine with Gausman. It's one way or the other. He's thinking about keeping the ball down.
Because I haven't bet this yet, and my biggest baseball bets on a regular season game in years was on Saturday for our Belmont stream, and the most vig I tell you, it was just crazy. Troy Torrance says Jason -134 is telling. Let's get into this one here and set this one up. A roof is going to be open. The weather is beautiful up here right now. We have 70 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 8.2 miles per hour in, gets up to 9.9 miles per hour in. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have Gausman and the Blue Jays at -128. They opened up at -127. So there's not been a move towards them. Let's get into the total here in this one. We have this total at 8. minus 109 to the under. It did get up to 8.5 a couple times, but now it's back right at 8. A 1 cent move to the under. So we've had no movement on this line, whether it be side or total. We have 77% of tickets and 76% of cash on the Blue Jays. We have 81% of tickets and 76% of cash on the over. Wine Time says that he wants the Jays. Logan Allen has been bad this year. He's been better on the road than he's been at home, but 6-3, 5.57 ERA, 1.52 WHIP. His last start at the Marlins was pretty good. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. It's a quality start. And on the road this year, opponents are hitting 278 against him. So it's all very difficult. Now, a couple things here. The Jays are an absolute train wreck. There's nothing that they can do. You have Vladdy. What does he have? 7 homer? I don't have it in front of me. It's hard for me to comprehend that he hit over 45 one year and was the runner-up for MVP. Like I can't.
What?
And
He's still hitting like 270, isn't he?
This is like his second best career offensively year so far. He's just not hitting home runs. He's hitting like Luis Ariz.
Man, he can come to Texas, man. I know you guys don't want him anymore. We liked his daddy. He can come to Texas. We'll take Vladdy.
He's just hitting like Luis Ariz. That's the issue here.
we like his father. Don't get me wrong. We like that we haven't given him a contract. We love that. That's the best thing that we've done. The best thing that we did is not give Bo a Bichette. But what's Bo Bichette's OPS? Is it over 600? These guys, what do you think would happen next? Like, what's the most possible thing? Kevin Barker was talking about. Now, Kevin Barker is really down on this team, and it's great. I love him. I've started loving him so much. But he was saying, what could Vladdy hit 45 homers, or could Bo Bichette lead the AL in hits? And he's like, God, what the hell has happened to these two young stars? Yeah, we'll give you Vladdy, but nobody's going to give us 6 prospects for him. No one's going to give us shit for him because they're going to have to sign him for a huge contract.
You can have Jack Leiter.
We'll take him. We'll fucking take him. Are you kidding me? We'll take him. We'll take him a heartbeat. We'd love that. Now we're talking.
Let me get on the phone with the Rangers, Jimmy. I got this. I'll make some.
Oh my God.
Now we're talking.
Take Kumar Rocker while you're there with him. Fuck.
We'll give you Leiter. We might even give you Jankowski. He's been playing well.
Oh my God.
I mean, we'll sweeten this thing up. You go ahead and send Vladdy our way.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just I can't even believe what's happened to these two kids. These two kids were absolute superstars, we thought, in the making. So here we go. Don Ricci says, I hate Gaussman. Logan, a coin flip, stay away. I love Gaussman. I love him. And he's made me a lot of money this year. I picked the right times to back him, and I'm not on him yet. Take it away, Jose, Guardians, Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm right there with everyone. I find it difficult to back Gaussman, and I'm glad that I could aid in any kind of spite bets for you, Jimmy. But I find it very difficult to try to back the Jays and Gaussman here. By the way, I just did a little research to one. I was curious to see Vladdy's years. He had 166 weighted runs created plus in that 48 home run season, Jimmy. He has 128 right now. Which is very funny. Those juice balls, man. Those juice balls were a real thing. But I like Logan Allen, and I think the Guardians are just a flat better team than the Blue Jays here. Well, and getting plus money with them is very interesting, and it appeals to me. I just have not moved on it. I don't think I will be moving on it. So, pass game for me. I respect Gaussman enough not to bet against him.
Joe Yeager says the Toronto office needs to read the Undoing Project. I felt like they had read it when they brought Gaussman in. Remember, Robbie Ray had just won the Cy, and we let him go, which was
it was great.
Yeah, so I felt like they had the Jays versus lefties since May 15th, the worst in Major League Baseball. 197 average, 539 OPS. I mean, that is unbelievably bad. Thinking and looking and capping this game, Daby Cab, did that lead you to anything?
Oh man, you talk about spite bets. You want to know what I was like? So what is Vladdy over 1.5 total bases? I mean, you can get it up to plus 110 pretty much at a lot of places. maybe even a little higher at a few other plus 118 at a couple places. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger, but Jimmy, he's still hitting 281. He's not y'all's problem.
Look, he's changed with Bichette and Vladdy playing this way. They've changed drastically the trajectory of our franchise, and Atkins and Shapiro are to blame. And there's a real thought that Bo Bichette is moved to the Guardians at the trade deadline, and because the Guardians have,
oh my gosh,
it is because they're looking for a right-handed bat.
Yeah.
Atkins and Shapiro worked for Cleveland. They're comfortable with a move of that size with Cleveland. Cleveland
That would
has
be a great move
for us.
Maybe it's just the pitcher in me, man, but I always blame the pitching staffs. Like, I feel like, I guess your offense isn't scoring any runs, though. So the Blue Jays offense is horrific. I'm just
Jimmy,
saying.
I already told you, Jimmy, about Vladimir Guerrero to the Seattle Mariners, right? Did I tell you about this?
Yeah, you did. Londo's saying, do you like the over? The Sharps are on the over 8. I tell you what appeals to me the most in totals is when you have two pitchers with gas can ERAs, like here. Logan Allen, 5.57, 1.52 whip. Gaussman, 4 ERA, 1.25 whip. And there's heavy action on the under. Or when there's two pitchers with really nice numbers and there's heavy action on the over. That's when I'm like, oh shit, this is sharp action. Logan Allen's the absolute gas can getting lit up and touched by everybody. Gaussman's numbers at home are horrific. Why wouldn't people be on the over? I don't find that being sharp action at all. I don't feel like that's sharp action at all, personally. Bo Jackson says Jays fans don't know what they want aside from complaining. I know what I want. Trade them all and fire them all. I've been saying the same thing over and over again. Trade Vladdy, trade Bichette, get prospects, and regroup. Fire Atkins, fire Shapiro, get a new voice. I don't even think it's Schneider's fault anymore, but fire his ass too. Fire Mattingly for all I fucking care. Fire all of them. That's what I want. Fire them all and start over again. God, watching Teoscar rip the leather off the ball in Los Angeles is so frustrating. Watching the Diamondbacks go to the World Series with Lourdes Gurriel and Gabby Montero is so frustrating. I know what I want. I know exactly what I want, Bo. And I know you're a Toronto guy and you got tickets, but
imagine trading a catcher that's going to be a 10-year pro, a good outfielder for Dalton Varsho, who's good at fielding.
I like Varsho. I mean, Varsho. I don't like the trade, but I like Varsho. I think he's a good baseball player. I kind of. I hate the trade, but I see what they saw in Varsho. Okay, let's move on here. Let's move on here. Okay, we have the next spot on the board here. So neither of us are moving on that Jays Guardians game. The next spot on the board is a Daby Cab best bet. San Diego Padres, New York Mets. We're at Citi Field in Queens, New York. We have Matt Waldron going up against Sean Manaea. Yes, the Mets aren't hitting righties, 230, 679 OPS, but I actually thought that I was going to come to some sort of an idea of how to bet that Jays game, and I didn't at all. I didn't.
You just got yourself angry about the Jays again.
Yeah. And actually, if you look at like that record for the Jays with this horrible baseball team and your superstars doing squad ass zilch, that makes me think Schneider's doing a pretty good job, even though I know he's not. That makes me think that he's doing a pretty good job. Padres, Mets, Waldron, Manaea. The Mets are not hitting righties, 230, 679 OPS, and the Padres are hitting lefties better than I thought. I kept recognizing their losses against lefties, but we got to kind of stop that. They don't have much power against lefties, 698 OPS since May 15th, but 256 average is pretty good. And they're moving up the list. It's not as bad as I thought. And then Matt Waldron, I never know what to expect from him. That was a really nice performance. Last out, 6 innings, 1 earned run in a 13-1 win at home versus Arizona. He's been very good on the road this year. I guess I should start believing in Matt Waldron. I guess I should. Sean Manaea just faced the Phillies at home. They went, bananas on him, of course, because the Phillies smack lefties. And Manaea's been really bad at home, 5.40 ERA, 254 opponents batting average here. So let's get into the line history and the weather and here. And we also heard from Domi Gunn Ricci that the weather is an issue. Storms are coming in at 7. Let's take a look at the Swish analytics here. We have rain, drizzle, but it stops. Maybe they just push the game. So I think we should still do the due diligence. It's 12 miles per hour in with the rain, but if they push the game, the wind doesn't become that much of an issue. 8.8, 8.9 miles per hour. Let's get into the total here in this one. It's sitting at 7.5. This opened up at 8, got up to 8.5, and then started dropping to 7.5. And then on the money line here, let's go over to the money line. We have the Mets sitting at minus 104. Minus 104. They opened up at plus 102, 6 cents of movement towards them. And then when we get to the cash flow for this one, you have 75% of tickets, 64% of cash on the over. And on the money line, 52% of tickets and 81% cash on the San Diego Padres. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, best bet number 2 and 3.
First thing I'm going to say that's on my mind about Waldron is I think a lot of people, they hear knuckleballer, so they instantly, think of like Wakefield or somebody like that because we don't have very many examples of knuckleballers that have been successful in the big leagues, right? And the ones that have, they throw the knuckleball and then they have a pretty slow fastball. That's not Waldron. Waldron can still pump 96, 97 with his fastball. So you need to understand that he's a little bit different than somebody like Tim Wakefield or some of these other knuckleball pitchers that we've seen in the past. So I just wanted to get that out there. Another thing, I do like the Padres as a side here. I thought that the Padres had faced Manaea this season already, but they hadn't. I just have memory because in the past I have faded Manaea when he's gone against the Padres. He used to throw for him. The lefty, he's 0-2 with a 10.61 ERA and a 1.71 whip in his last 2 outings. Manaea has just been terrible. And against the Padres, if you go back to, the last times he's faced them, the Padres are hitting 293 as a team against him, and that's over 92 at-bats with the current roster. So it's not a small sample size. 92 at-bats, hitting 293 with the current roster is something I like. I know the Padres have struggled against lefties, but I think they're playing really good baseball right now. And on the other side of the ball, Waldron, he's posting a 1.5 ERA over his last 5 starts, which is just at 30 innings pitched. I think it's a cheap price to get in on Waldron. The weather might affect a knuckleball, but again, I'm going to say it. He throws 97 miles an hour. He's not just a knuckleball pitcher. I like the Padres here as a side. I took the Padres team total over 4. I think it was a low number on, their ex-pitcher. They're, like I said, 293 against Manaea. Padres have been winning baseball games of late. They've been hitting the ball. They're very hot. So I got their team total over 4. And another thing I'm going with here is Tatis Jr. I got over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs at minus 115. I understand that he's hitting like 218 on the season against right-handed pitching. He's not doing good. But Tatis is coming off a 17-game hit streak with a few lefties that were sprinkled in there that he hit also. He just got off that hit streak last game, and I think there's going to be reverberations from it here. I love the idea of him, getting a few hits here, scoring a couple runs, maybe getting an RBI in there. 1.5 is just too low of a number for somebody that's been as hot as he is. In his last 10 games, just to speak on that, he's hitting 319. That's 16 hits, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 9 runs scored, and that's in 10 games. So Tatis over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs at minus 115.
This is an interesting one. Very, very, very interesting one. Dommy Gun leaning to that first 5 under. The first 5 under, if you want that 4.5, it's expensive. It's minus 128. If you want the 4, it's plus 105. And then right now at Penny, the team total for the Padres is down to 3.5 as this has been moving to the under, and it's minus 124. The juice isn't, insane here. Take it away for us here, Jose. Do you have a plan for Padres Mets?
I think I'm going to stay off the game. It's first of all, obviously weather in this game as well might not go, et cetera, et cetera. On top of that, weather with a knuckleballer doesn't make me feel great. I know, obviously he can throw hard and has a slider and fastball in there as well. So, but I just don't want to, if he has 4 pitches and then can't throw his knuckleballs, then he's down to 3 pitches, and that's not an ideal scenario for us here. But I just ended up staying off. I lean Padres. I'd consider taking them team total. They obviously know Sean Manaea well, and they can hit lefties. but the weather is the main thing that's got me off. Hopefully these teams play again with the same matchup, and we can bet them tomorrow.
Wow. I think, yeah, it's unclear whether this game will go. At first, I thought it was going to for sure from Swish, but I just went over their weather report and it might not. So, Daby Cab, Padres team total over 4 -110. Tatis Jr. over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -115. And then he has the Phillies team total over 3.5 at -110. Daby Cab, we're excited to see what you guys do in Dallas tonight. So have fun. Anybody in the Texas area, in the Dallas area, come hang out with the squad. The boys will be down there, and I'm looking forward to you guys there. And we'll see if our guy BJ can cash the 10-unit bet on the Mavs. That's a sweaty one, man. Daby Cab also, of course, will be starting Medicaid Mondays, 11 a.m. That friends and family parlay cashed for you guys. It was a thing of beauty. Daby Cab, take it away, man. What do you want our cappers to know about as you head off into the evening?
No, you know what I love, Jimmy, is I didn't realize as many people were going to tail that parlay as they did. You know, it was at least 3 people that tagged me on Twitter. So I'm like, I love it. So I'm glad that we were able to get that for you guys. That was awesome. T said yesterday, talking about coming to Dallas, our guy T said he's only going to come if we can film Jose talking to Mavericks fans going into the stadium with a broom in his hand before the game.
Oh, no.
So I am excited for this. We're going to get content. We're going to specifically highlight Jose talking to the Mavericks fans.
I just want to make sure the floors and the streets are clean. So I'm just going to do my part, bringing a broom and just making sure that their walkways are fresh and ready to go, perhaps. That's it.
Oh, no.
And one last thing I can say on a good note here. If this game doesn't go, I'll make these same 2 bets tomorrow if I get the same numbers. So just know that.
I love it. I love it, Dabby. God, I keep getting that image of, I don't know if you guys saw it last year when the Lightning knocked out the Rangers in the playoffs and walking out of the stadium. The guy's walking out and he goes, Lightning, like that, and the guy in front of him just turned around and knocked him the fuck out.
Jose, don't fuck with drunk people, man. Try and single out like women and children.
Yes, single out women and children.
That'll be a good one. No, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. There's a little anxiety there, a little bit for sure. But as long as the Celtics win, all bets are off.
If it's just Jose, in the face of children talking trash, that would be the best.
Yeah, that'd be great. Little Luka Doncic jerseys. I told you. That would be good.
Oh, I'm so worried about him. Please take care of him, Dabby. Please.
Yeah. And by the way, I've learned a Jimmyism here.
Yeah.
I will be consuming no alcohol. No alcohol will be in my hands. I will have no alcohol because they will immediately assume I'm just some drunk asshole. I want to be the sober asshole.
Oh, geez, right. Wear a helmet. That'd be good for gags.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
A helmet?
Yeah.
You look like
that'd be hilarious.
Gab, do you have a helmet?
My daughters have one.
Oh, perfect.
All right, I'll take that one.
Oh no, that's perfect because then people will know it's a joke. A broom and a helmet.
Oh, they won't know it's a joke before.
No.
Okay, fair. Make sure it's the pink and frilly one, Cappy. I want that one.
Oh, you guys fixed it. Then now I'm not. Yes, if he's wearing a helmet, oh please. Okay, now we're in business.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're gonna think I'm, some kind of way, and they're not gonna immediately think to violence.
No, and I like that. Now we're talking.
Need, Jose.
It's fine. Yeah, hey, bring the helmet. I'll wear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good. I'm glad this is a good brainstorm, everyone.
All right. Now that we're all on the same page.
Troy says, I really think this footage has a chance to go viral. Now we have a chance. Now I support it totally, but get him the helmet.
I got it. It's hanging right behind me in the other room.
Perfect. Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, we're great. And I'm obviously going to be wearing my Jason Tatum jersey, so you guys will know where we are.
When you get people's attention, Jose, you just have to go, hey.
Kelsey says, and lipstick. I don't think lipstick helps. I think just
Kelsey, there's the step too far, Kelsey. You almost got a 5-minute sussy for that, Kelsey. We almost put you in the penalty box, but thank you.
No, this is great stuff. All right, Dabby, please stay in touch with us, and we're looking forward to see what you guys do tonight, my man.
Yep.
There he is, Dabra.
And by the way, we do have a live stream tonight, UFC live stream. believe it's today. I don't know. We will have something going on today. I thought today was Saturday for a hot second. So actually, never mind. We will have videos coming out. Don't worry. All of this will be seen. It'll be social media content. And it'll be very interesting to say the least.
Oh, I love now I'm much more comfortable because then people will know that you won't, if you just come at them, you're going to get knocked out. But if you're wearing a helmet and people start laughing as soon as you walk up, then now we're fine.
You think I'm going to come at you? Think I'm going to like approach someone and be like, yeah, bitch, we just fucked you up? You think that's going to happen?
I don't think you'll swear. But yes, I'm concerned that you will come at people.
If I see Kyrie Irving jerseys, that's going to be the thing that triggers me. If I start seeing Kyrie Irving jerseys, I'm just going to start pointing out the 130 waste dollars of that jersey cost, and I'm going to ask, was that a good decision? Was that a good purchase? Do you feel good about this? But it's going to be fun. And Troy's right. Worst case, I get knocked out. As long as it's on video, we go viral. We're good.
Yeah, but you need the helmet on so you don't hit the back of your head on the concrete. It's not the punch.
That's major key. That's a major key.
Let's roll on. We have a big one here. Two pitchers that you know very well who no longer ply their trade for the Boston Red Sox, and I'm sure you'd love to have them both. Zach Littell going up against Chris Sale here at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Braves now 36-30, 19-12 at home. JP says that helmet might not prevent an ass whooping. No, it will help. It will help. I mean,
I think the thing is, JP, I live in Texas. Automatically, the whites reach for their gun. So if I have a helmet on, they'll just reach up and try to punch me in the face instead of automatically shooting me. So,
no, I just wear a helmet. That's all we ask.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that's Dabby wants to let everyone know that if he gets arrested, we have to do a GoFundMe for his bail.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That'll be no problem. No problem there. It is hot in Hotlanta. Finally, 93 Fahrenheit, 6.7 miles per hour out to center field. It's always between 5.6 and 6.7 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have the Atlanta Braves and Chris Sale at minus 211. They opened up at minus 196, and a couple times they got up around this number and it bounced back. But here they are at minus 211. So we've had 15 cents of movement towards the Atlanta Braves. Let's get into the total for this one. From a total side of things, we are sitting with an 8.5 juice to the under. This opened up at 8 and it moved to the under or to the over at 1:14 a.m. It just didn't open until 10 p.m. tonight. So it 3 hours and 14 minutes it took for this to move to 8.5. Let's get into the cash flow then for this one. Braves Rays 90% of tickets, 88% cash on the Braves. Line moving towards them. We already heard from Troy Torrance the Braves are a cash cow. 73% of tickets, 75% cash on the over. Zach Littell 2-4, 3.63 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, being very good this year. Coming off a 9-2 loss at home versus these very Braves. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 1 walk. He pitched pretty well. On the road, he's been fine. They are hitting him, but it's not, heavy barrels. High opponents batting average, but they're not hitting jacks. Chris Sale, on the other hand, coming off 2-1 loss at the Nats, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk. He looked very good. 7 innings, 2 earned runs. At home this year, 2.91 ERA, 6-0, 204 opponents batting average, but the K to walk ratio is outstanding. 51 strikeouts and 4 walks. Unbelievable. Braves are not hitting righties at all. 217, 643 OPS. There's our guy Chan Kim in the house. Says, I wish I was there, Jose, just in case they rush you. See, you need guys like Chang around. Like that.
I do need guys like Chang. Shout out to you, Chang.
If he was there, then I would say, okay, maybe you don't have to wear a helmet. But
fair.
I still much prefer the helmet. Swiggy says Atlanta hitting 217 versus righties past 30 days. Resident Code says Sale first 5 is 7-0. UPK Yashala got Tampa Bay first 5 Braves full game. Londo liking the over 8 in this one. Take it away, Jose Bouquet, Rays Braves.
God, just let there be like 4 Celtics fans that I can get along with. I just need like two, 3 other bodies to just roll around me in some Celtics green, and I can be really out of pocket.
Make some friends. That's
some friends would be nice. But Jimmy, a wise man once told me, no new friends. No new friends.
Yeah, and I stand by that. I think it's helped my life immensely. No new friends.
No new friends, except for the toe lady. Shout out to her. So yeah, Chris Sale against the Rays. I just looked up his numbers to see. I was curious. If anyone's going to know how Chris Sale operates, it's going to be them last starts. 2023, 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. 2022, 5 shutout. 21, 3 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs, only 1 of them earned. And he's obviously got a shitload of them, but those are his most recent ones. He's given up 2 earned runs and a few before that as well. Honestly, I thought and still think that Chris Sale is being like overlined, I guess. Minus 210 here is ridiculous. And Chris has not pitched well in his last few starts. Correct me if I'm wrong, I've got to double check this now as I'm saying this, but like it's not, I don't think he's minus 210 worthy at the end of the day here. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against the Nationals, not bad. He gave up those 8 earned runs against the A's. I just think that the Rays could get to him here with some familiarity on the Rays side here. I just don't believe minus 210 is worthy, but I'll end up staying off here. I don't trust the Rays enough to get there, and the Braves bullpen, another thing I don't trust either. So no action for me. Littell is not bad. He's just quietly, just like one of those Rays pitchers they bring back to life, and he goes out there, pitches well, and when he gets hurt, they'll just toss him to the side. He's given up 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 innings, 3 earned runs in his last 2-3 starts. I kind of expect the same thing here, but are they going to get a score against the Braves here is the real question. So I stayed off. I lean Rays, but no action.
So can you touch on the Rays versus lefties? Because when I switched from May 1st to May 15th, their numbers dropped off. From May 15th to now, they're 25th in the league versus lefties. A 233 average, 640 OPS. It's been bad. Is it any different if you go to the last 14 days?
A little bit. 168 plate appearances, 103 weighted runs created plus. But that's still only good for 19th. It's a little bit above average. You know, obviously there's some small sample size teams in front of them that are hitting well. Like, you know, the Yankees have 99 plate appearances, but 133 weighted runs created plus. But still, I think the Yankees would be above them. Just a bad example. But I think they've improved, it seems. It's just, is it enough to where you trust them? And by the way, Troy Torrance, good note here. Justin Steele just locked them up yesterday. Good lefty there.
See, if Robert Cherry was with you, Chan Kim, any of these guys with you, I have no concerns whatsoever. Robert Cherry, 6 foot 400, licensed to carry. I mean, that's all I need to hear. If Robert Cherry's there, I'm like, okay, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, but maybe we can leave the gun. We can leave the guns at home. But I believe in that 6 foot 400 frame.
Also, I do think the key is a pregame, mid a game. If the Celtics win, that's when you'll get attacked. So do it pregame, you know, then. But because if you start spouting off, I mean, I see that guy getting knocked out. Now the thing is, if you do get hurt badly, you will get free tickets. Maybe some.
You know what? I could be on a duck boat. I could be in the championship parade. They might put me in the front of the parade as the grand marshal. Half of my face will be inflamed like a fucking balloon.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll be on too many drugs to realize where I am.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun.
Yeah, hopefully you don't breathe through a straw, but if you do, you know, it's...
Anquan Bolden played an NFL game with a broken jaw and his mouth wired shut. I mean, why can't I do that?
Oh, that's true. But don't do it after the game if you win.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think after the game is when it's going to be the most aggressive. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Jason Work, my friend. I am sitting on the fence doing nothing in this card here. Let's see if we can get some opportunities to attack. I wonder if it is too late. I'm with TJ. I don't really understand why it's gone to the over here, but I don't want to get in the way of it. So let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. We already heard that the over was being attacked in this Milwaukee spot. by who? Oh, by the way, smooth balls play today's Chris Sale over 7.5 Ks.
Shout
By
to you,
Troy
smooth
Torrance.
balls.
He's in the over in this one. Maybe I get here unless the line's moved too quickly here. American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Cincinnati Reds, 33-35. It's amazing how good the Reds record is despite being feeble with the sticks. Reds versus righties since May 15th, 226, 696 OPS. And we know what the Brewers have been doing, hitting righties hard. Now their power numbers are starting to decline, but 261, 718 OPS since May 15th against righties. You have Hunter Green and Freddie Peralta. Now, Hunter Green coming off an 8-4 win at home versus the Cubs, did get touched for 4 earned runs over the 6 2/3, and he's been very good on the road. Opponents hitting 163 off of him, a 2.97 ERA. Freddie Peralta has not looked very good of late. He hasn't. That last start, 4 runs, just 3 of which were earned. It was a 5-4 win at Detroit, but he did not look good. And he's been good at home. Very good K to walk ratio. 40 Ks, 5 walks, and just 27 2/3, 200 opponents batting average, 2-0 with 3.90 ERA. So here we go. Let's take a look at the weather. We know there's no air conditioning. We want it to get real hot to bet overs here, because there's no AC. How hot is it in Milwaukee? It's not hot at all. Damn. You guys got it. Yeah.
Jimmy, sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I'm now in a state of mind at ease now, because Rem Most called dibs on dating Helga if I get put into a coma. So I know she's in good hands. Thank you, Rem.
That's really nice of him.
That's good. Thank you, Rem.
He's a good friend. He's a good friend.
Only the best here. Tip my hat to you, Rem.
Yeah, he's a good friend. Here we go. Let's go through the line history and the cash flow here for this one. From a line history standpoint, we'll start with the total. The total here is at 7.5. It's minus 113 to the over. This opened up at 8 at 9:17 p.m. Within 10 minutes, it was down 7.5, but then it got right back to 8. Then when it got to 7.5, it stayed there. So this is juice to the over. It was juice to the under, but it is a half-run move no matter how you look at it. It's a half-run move from 8 to 7.5. Let's get to the money line here in this one. We have the Brewers at minus 151. They opened up at minus 132, 19 cents of movement. 19 cents of movement towards the Milwaukee Brewers. Wow. That's a lot of movement towards them. 98% of the tickets in cash on the over. That doesn't appeal to me. 78% of tickets and 81% of cash on the Brewers in this line, moving so drastically towards them. Resident Code says Cincinnati 8-2 over their last 10. Robert Franklin says, does Pub Sports have insurance for its employees? That's a good question. Shout out to Jason Work, now a member of Pub Sports Radio. Take it away for us here, Jose. Reds, Brewers.
Yeah, and shout out to whoever said this is a good baseball card. Obviously, baseball did a good thing this weekend. They put in like a lot of rivalry games this weekend, and it's going to be fun, but bad timing with the NBA, obviously. I stayed off this game too, and yeah, I've been passing a lot of games here today. I lean Brewers, and I think the Brewers are just a better team. But again, this kind of weekends, a lot of big pitching matchups, a lot of matchups, or a lot of game matchups as well that are going to implicate in the future here. Like Reds are, they're set. Well, just looking at the wrong thing. There we go. Reds are. They're 7 games back, but they're 8-2 of their last 10, playing well. They need to play well against the first place Brewers. I agree. I think this could be, kind of a playoff-ish vibe, but the issue is it's in Milwaukee, and who the fuck knows how many people will go there if it's going to be a packed house. So I lean full game under, if anything, but I didn't want to move on this game either, unfortunately, with everyone bet the over in this game. 98% of the bets and money on the over, and a lot of people like the over in the chat, it seems, but no action.
We have helmet options that have been sent to you, so please take a look at them.
Oh, good.
And upload them. Maybe we can vote. Maybe we can do some votes.
I think, Jimmy, I just saw the options, and I think there's a clear winner. A very clear winner, and I will show it here in the next few minutes. But yeah, you guys will be thrilled with the option.
Well, so both bullpens have been so good of late. I would want to focus on the first 5 over. The first 5 over would be what I would want to look at, not the full game over. And then what do we think of Peralta here? Is he able to kind of get right? He's not been very good lately, going back to other spots here. I don't want to be on the 98% of the total, and I'm not going to. You know what? I've got to cut that. But what are our I still kind of like the Brewers, and I agree with Dommy Gunn that this price is not where you want it, but just the fact that it's moved this far in this direction, I do find that appealing here. Peralta's last 2 starts were bad, but he looked good in 2 starts before that. White Sox and Tigers, he did not look. I can't explain that. What is your expectation of Peralta against this Reds lineup? And is the fact that they've won 8 of their last 10 stopping you from backing the Brewers?
Yeah, I think kind of, honestly. And I was looking up to see if Freddie had seen these guys this year. Has not yet. So going to previous seasons here, 6 shutout, 3-0 win last year, 6 shutout, 3-0 win last year. In 22, he only pitched 2 innings for whatever reason, probably injury. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run. The worst. It took, or I guess it's 4 starts now of solid starts against the Reds till you get to a somewhat shaky one. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs in 2022, and an 18-4 win still. I just think he's good enough against the Reds here, to get the job done. The real question is, and I'll look right now to see how Hunter Green will do. Hunter Green is definitely one of those pitchers that I don't really have a good feel for. Obviously, we all know he throws the ball fucking hard as hell. But if you make contact with it, it goes far. Earlier this season, he's seen the Brewers 6 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned on 2 home runs, 9 Ks, 1 walk. That's Hunter Green. And then in 2022, went 5 innings, 2 earned runs there. Yeah, I just think that this might be a bad matchup for Hunter Green. So I lean Brewers, but it's too juice for me.
TJ says pay the juice here and take Milwaukee on the money line. I don't mind the -1. I have no problem pushing bets. It doesn't bother me at all. So I think that I'm fine. I think this big market move towards the Brewers is telling us what I need to know here. And I would like to be able to move on the over, but I can't when it's this public. So I think I found my first spot on the board. And I know this goes against what a lot of people think, but I like the home team on the -1 line. You get way more juice out of it. The home team or the road team on the -1 line, knowing that they're getting 9 at bats, it just doesn't pay out like the home team on the -1 line. So I'm going to be on the Brewers -1 to get my card started here. Brewers -1 finally get my card started. Now, I got not enough action. It's one game in CFL that is not going to cut it. Let's see what else we can find here. I'm not going to force it, but let's see what else we can find. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. We have Detroit Tigers 33-35, 17-16 on the road. At the Houston Astros 31-38, 17-18 at home. Now, backstage, we do have our NBA expert, but he happens to be an expert on all things Houston. I wonder if he would like to join us here for, yes, and he will here in a second. He's going to set up. So I would love, and I didn't mean to drop that on him, but I thought what a great chance to get him to come and talk about this big game. I love this matchup. Justin McKelvey's already on the Astros -110. I love that Hunter Brown has started pitching better. I really, really do. Spreadsheet dog for Ron Crawford is the Detroit Tigers. Sean Pulliam on the Nerfy here. Let's talk about this spot, Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Treek Skubal, 8-1, 1.92 ERA, 0.89 WHIP, 96 Ks over 79 2/3. I love him. I've loved him ever since he was a minor league pitcher of the year, and he had a 5 ERA, and people were talking, would say, we know Skubal's trash. And I'd be like, what? And then he showed over the last few years that he can be a top 3 or 4 lefty in the league. Last start, 10-2 win at home versus the Brewers. He allowed 1 earned run, struck out 10. On the road, 1.80 ERA, 45 strikeouts over 35 innings, 45 strikeouts and 4 walks, 203 opponents batting average. Hunter Brown, 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks, 4 walks, and a 6-1 win at the Angels. I like that they're getting back what they put into Hunter Brown and not throwing him down to the minors. 226 opponents batting average this year. The problem is that when they hit him, they barrel him up. He's been much better at home than he's been on the road. And there's no concern against the Tigers against righties. 239, 701 OPS. The question is, do you trust the Astros against lefties? Because that used to be at one point something that was just a slam dunk situation with the Astros against lefties. That's not the case right now. Since May 15th, the Houston Astros are hitting 230 with a 637 OPS versus lefties. So we can't let the vividness bias tell us that, the Astros smash lefties, because they just don't anymore. Sean Pulliam on the Tigers first half. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have these Astros at minus 116. They opened up at minus 104, now minus 115, but still 11 cents of movement towards the Houston Astros. And then the total here, which gives you the inclination that Hunter is going to pitch well here. Then this total is down to a 7. We're down to a 7. Opened up at 7.5, down to a 7. So we've got minimal volatility in this one. And Justin says the over 7.5 was almost stacks play today. Wow. Okay. So let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have the 27% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the Tigers. 94% of the cash on the Tigers, and this line is moving towards the Astros. 89% of tickets and 82% of cash on the over. Let's bring in the man who knows all things H-Town, our NBA expert today, our guy, LJ, in the house. LJ, how are you, my friend?
What's going on, Jimmy? How you doing? Jose, how you doing, sir?
LJ, I'm doing fucking fantastic.
Bet
LJ.
you are. I bet you are.
I am.
I bet you are. Well, fortunately, I tried to make the trip last night, but my car started acting up. So I felt it was a sign from the gods. Was like, you know what? It's not Dallas this year. So if you're going to go out there, you're probably going to be disappointed. So, I'll save you the misery. You can just watch it on TV. But hey, I hope you guys have fun. Jose, I hope you get all the vitriol you will deserve, sir. But I hope they don't.
Thank you.
But hey, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Speaking of which, can you show us the helmet that you are deciding on?
Yeah. So we've got two great options here. LJ, I'd love to hear your opinion on this as well. Option 1 and 2.
Oh wow.
I think there's a clear-cut winner in the clubhouse. I'll just keep my mouth shut and let you guys decide.
I mean, I would go with the blue one.
Yeah, I would go with the blue one too.
Yeah, I don't want to be around you with pink on.
Yeah, and the pink is just so like people won't even be listening to you anymore.
Yeah, they'll tune you out.
They won't take me seriously.
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's gonna get them to not take me seriously. Fair enough. Very interesting.
I think the blue one. That's my vote, but we'll see.
That's mine too. Blue.
We can get the poll up for that, blue or pink here. Jason Work, no, I'm not, but I'm on the unders. I got 24.5 and 48.5, but you know what? If I don't have any MLB action, maybe I add in the Milwaukee, the Edmonton team total under. Let's go to this spot. LJ, now you have been a proponent for backing the Astros against all lefties. They've stopped smashing them, have they? Is this something that you've gotten off? And what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I've gotten off of it for the most part. I'm very situational with it. It just depends on what batter has good numbers versus that lefty that's pitching. But I've got off the auto bet. I got to get them into the season. It's early. So once I get a bigger sample size, we'll see how they do towards the end of this season. But right now, yeah, they're hit or miss right now versus that lefty situation.
Tariq Skubal versus Hunter Brown. Were you close to moving on this spot? Did you?
Oh yeah, I have a bet in this game actually. I definitely have a bet in this game. I jumped on the over first 5, over 3.5, minus 105, simply because of the trend of the Astros at home. They are now 12-1 in their last 13 games to the first 5 over at home. It's just somewhere or another. They just give up runs early. And Hunter Brown, he's good versus the division at home. But when he's outside of the division, they had Cleveland at home. He gave up 6 earned runs. They had Detroit, Milwaukee at home. They gave up 4. They just recently had the Twins at home. He gave up 3 early. So I believe that it's going to go over simply because I've been tracking the trend pretty much all season going back to last year. It's just something that Astros do. So I trust that the game would stay close, and I'm leaning over as well because Detroit 20-12-1 to the over on the road, which is number 1 in the MLB. So this game may go first 5 over and full game over. But for me, my best bet is the first 5 over 3.5, minus 105.
LJ on the first 5 over 3.5. I'll tell you, Jose, just seeing such a clear pitching advantage for the Tigers, the market moving towards the Astros. I know that the public tickets wise are on the Astros, but the big bets certainly are not. That makes, to me, the Astros appealing here.
I'm on the Astros officially minus 110. Or sorry, excuse me, minus 119. I was reading stacks there, minus 110. I agree. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. For LJ's sake, I hope it's 4-0 Astros in the first 5 innings. I think this is a lower-scoring ball game, and then I think the Tigers' bullpen blows it open late, truthfully. So I'll be very interested. And by the way, I'll say this, Astros against lefties. Start of this month, 9th, only 107 plate appearances, but 128 weighted runs created plus. And full season, it's still 110 weighted runs created plus. So still good.
Yeah, I think this is trickier than it looks. And Ron said that's why Detroit's not the play of the day. Yeah. JP says Astros find ways to lose. Johnny K says kind of love the Tigers. Andrew G says advantage Tigers. When I see this blatant of an advantage statistically, and the line moves to the other side, that I find that extremely appealing, and I see that Justin and Jose have as well. TJ says books are telling you this is a subpar spot for Scooball, and Kelly says already bet that over 7. Already bet that over 7. And, paying your life saying Stros will murder him after the 5th. That's another important point because this bullpen that looked so good through the first month of the year has completely fallen apart for the Tigers. I mean, they look atrocious. And the Astros bullpen, which also another thing that could have been predicted, has just stepped up. So I am with you. I'm with you guys here. And then if it's a subpar spot, why wouldn't we be looking at the full game over? Did you get close to it, Jose?
I was closer to under than over full game, but I didn't move on it. I just think it could be like, these pitchers are very good. They obviously could go like 0-0 first 5, and then if the bullpens blow it late, I'm relying on them to get like 8 runs. So, but LJ likes the over, so I typically would rather trust other cappers' bets than my leans.
Razor Sharp Picks Gamblers First Glance is the Houston Astros as well. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going to join you guys. LJ on the first 5 over 3.5. Jose on the Astros. Justin McKelvey on the Astros. Gamblers First Glance on the Astros, and I would like to join them here. I will. Troy Torrance says, I love the fact that everybody gave up on the Cubs.
Great. I know what? I know Troy feels the same way about the Mavericks right now. He's going right back to the well with the Mavericks tonight. I
don't think he is. All right, LJ going to be back in business with us. We're going to go 3-headed here for our big NBA breakdown. Now, Jose, you've got to go.
I do have to leave soon, yes.
So I just got to, I know what to do. So I got to press the button here that I see. Let me just try this again. So it goes to 3, and then I just pop the guy in there. Okay, okay, perfect. I can work with that. Jose, before you go, we have 6 games left on the MLB card. Is there any action you want to give out on those games before you go?
I didn't have any. I was, obviously like breaking everything down together here. Angels, just quickly, I guess, reverse order real quick. Angels, Giants, I didn't have a pitcher for the Giants, so I stayed off. Texas, Seattle, Luis Castillo avoided that ass whooping from the White Sox yesterday, unfortunately. I kind of like the Rangers here. especially because it's a 1 versus 2 matchup in their division. I believe as well the Rangers are in second. I'm going to look that up right now. Yeah, they're 5.5 games back, but obviously there's a point of pride in there, and they want to get there. So, and Luis Castillo got pushed back a day to pitch in this start, so I'll always be interested to see how that works. Dodgers Royals, no action. I like Gavin, or I like Cole Raggins, but I think he's just got shitty luck with his opponents and pitchers this year, so I have no action. White Sox, Diamondbacks, I lean White Sox again because Ryan Nelson sucks balls. No pitcher in Colorado Rockies, and no action in Minnesota Twins here. So my only action, I only have 2 bets. Pity, oh well. But these are 2 good bets that I like. The over 7 and -110 for Philadelphia, Baltimore, and our very own Astros money line. Do you think I can say that today as I'm sweeping everyone, just making sure the causeways are clear for everyone? I want people to walk on no filth. You think it'll make people feel better? Guys, I bet the Astros today, though. Don't worry.
Don't worry about a thing. Rem is going to take care of everything. So
yeah, Rem, as long as Helga's in good hands, Rem, that is really all I care about.
Yeah. So, nothing to worry about. Everything's going to be fine. And happily ever after, too. I mean, they're going to have a great life together. So
yeah, I mean, why would Rem's a great guy. I know it. And Helga will put up with my bullshit, so I'm sure she'll put up with Rem's at the very least.
This is great. This is great stuff. And you're getting a lot of love from Razor in the chat as well. So it's all coming together nice. Safe travels up there. And please record as much as possible. And I'm not... See, the thing about heckling is in a stadium, you can't have the liquor. But I think that you need a little bit of courage to go up to these fans. So I don't agree with this no drinking thing tonight. I think that you should get a little litty. Remember Liddy Bop? That's your thing, man.
Yeah, that is. We'll see. I have some friends that are meeting us there as well. So maybe I'll fall into the peer pressure today. Who knows?
I think it'd be
but it's gonna be very interesting. Shout out to everyone in here. Again, if you're a Dallas resident and you want to come see the nonsense that's gonna happen, come on by. And Razor Sharp, what bar are we going to? That's a fucking great question. I have no idea. We're just going to be by the American Airlines Arena, and it's going to be very funny. It's going to be very funny, to say the least. I will be wearing a helmet. I will have my broom.
The helmet's key. I think you're in business now. I think that people will know that it's not to be lynched.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see. We live in Texas, so I can't say that those likelihoods are not zero. So
people will know it's a joke. If you didn't have a helmet on, a girl's helmet, that would be different. This is good. You won't get. This is good. I think this is all going to work.
It's going to be fun. So I appreciate all you guys. And by the way, if there's
Johnny Guns says, what time you guys going to be out? Have you planned out when will you be there at American Airlines?
It's going to be pregame. Right now, I have a 5 o'clock ETA to Dallas. Game starts at 7:30 Dallas time. So I assume we will be there around 6:45, 7-ish, around whatever arena bar thing we're going to do. Watch the game at a bar close. And then I don't know at what point, Jimmy. It's going to be very interesting because Swig has heard me say this on several live streams. There's always a point in the game where I call it done. It's over. The Mavs are done. And when I see that point happen during this game, when the Celtics snatch their souls, that's when I will pay my bar tab. I will walk outside and I will just go to the American Airlines Center and just start laughing. Fucking laughing. And honestly, I don't know what's going to happen if the Mavs win tonight. I don't know if that's going to be a better or worse thing for me. If the Mavs win tonight, you're going to see a lot more of Daby Cab talking than me. I'll tell you that right now. So shout out to you guys all for watching the show. Stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter at Jose Bouquet and follow Pub Sports Radio on Twitter because you'll see a lot of action there tonight, I'm sure. God fucking bless the Boston Celtics.
I love it. Oh, man. It's going to be fun. All right, let's roll. Next up for us, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, we have Billy Friedrich's Pig Milk Play of the Day. Pig Milk Play of the Day, 31 and 20 plus 12.69 units. Fanatical Jim, it made me so happy when you wrote that about Vegas Gun. It made me so happy. I've just been thinking, so I look forward to being in contact with you about that. It really, really did help my spirits. And the most important thing that we can do for our brothers that aren't here anymore is talk about them, keep them alive in that way. So it made me very happy to hear that you had a connection with Vegas Gun because he meant so much to us. All right, let's roll. Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's get into the weather here. And we need to step on the gas a little bit. We do have Brizzy and LJ here for NBA. And then Brizzy will be sticking around for WNBA. 77 Fahrenheit at Target Field, 3.8 miles per hour in. Very light weather, no concern here. Mitch Spence going up against Simeon Woods Richardson. We know that Simeon Woods Richardson is going to be a monster. His career trajectory could be very special. Another thing about what he's done this year in 50 and 2/3 innings, only allowing 5 home runs with 2.84 ERA, is it hasn't been done at home. He has been delivering on the road. He's only thrown 16 innings at home. And it's well within the realm of possibilities that Simeon Woods Richardson is a monster and could really, really show out here with some home opportunities. Mitch Spence looks like a good pitcher. I can understand Billy Friedrich A's first 5 plus a half. Mitch Spence 4-3, 3.68 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. He's looked very good. He's looked very good on the road. 2-1, 2.84 ERA. Opponents hitting just 176 against them. I almost didn't include those statistics because it's just 19 innings of sample size. But he's throwing 51 in a third. The reason why I wanted to include the 16 innings of Simeon Woods Richardson was because I was surprised that he had not played often or not pitched in front of his home fans. Neither teams are hitting righties right now. A's versus righties, 213, 607 OPS. Twins versus righties, 231, 696 OPS. Rant saying probably an under. Let's go into the line history here with this one. We have the total at 9. It's minus 111 to the under. This opened up at 8.5 and immediately went to 8. It went to 8 after 42 minutes, which didn't last long. That lasted for 3 minutes before that over 8 started getting hammered. And then we find ourselves at a 9. So just a big, big move towards the over. Bit of a surprising move towards the over. Both bullpens have been mediocre. The A's bullpen's been better than the Twins bullpen since May 15th. So you could say if you have a ERA under 4 as a group, I mean, that's something that, it's a pretty good bullpen. The Guardians' year-long ERA in the 2s is just unbelievable. But I find the Twins appealing here. Let's see what number we're talking. That is the total. Let's get into the money line here for this one. From a money line standpoint, the Twins are minus 180. I mean, that's just too expensive. The initial move was a clear move towards the Oakland A's. The Twins opening up at minus 175 at 9:01 p.m. They got all the way down to minus 160 before there was this get back on the Minnesota Twins. There's no raccoon race. Oh, speaking of the race, sorry about this, you guys. Speaking of the race, because I don't have the equipment to do it, the race is moved to Tuesday. So next week we'll have 3 races: Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Or we could just do the Thursday race for more money. Or we could just do $75 for Thursday and Friday next week. So why don't you guys say in the chat what you think will be the best spot? Nutflush Allen said, just think about the amazing connection I now have with Lily due to this family. Lily is literally so close to our direct family. We talk daily. Oh, Nutflush, that's meant so much to so many people. That what you've done and built with Lily is it means so much. It truly, truly, truly does. It's such a good example of what we're all about, Mike. And I was really excited to hear that Fanatical Jim also had that connection with Vegas Gun. It just meant so much to us. And you just lead by example, Mike. I'm very, very thankful for your friendship. And I love, and Lily's such a great person. I love it. So I wish there wasn't this clear buyback on the Twins. Buyback's not the right term. I wish there wasn't this initial move towards the Oakland A's, because you have to think that was sharp money doing it. And Spence has been good. I mean, that was a really nice performance. 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Now, it was at home, but he's been very good on the road. I don't see the advantage. Another thing is, if this hadn't moved to the over 9, I would be very interested in the under. Okay, everybody wanting 3 races, you got it so far. You got it. So I guess I'm off of it, which this was something that I was expecting to be involved in. I guess I'm off of it. Let's roll on. 8:40 p.m. Eastern, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sorry, I got to do this here. Pittsburgh Pirates without a clear starting pitcher. And I was wondering if things would change. Let's go over to RotoWire and see who they think will be starting for these Pittsburgh Pirates. And it is Luis Ortiz is the expectation. Let's go to the books and see if they have a Luis Ortiz listed. They don't. I don't think it's Luis Ortiz. I don't. Does anybody have an idea who they think will be pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates here? We have Ryan Feltner on the side of the Rockies. He's been an atrocity at home. He's only thrown 24 and 2/3 innings at home, and he's got a 340 opponent's batting average. I mean, he's just been bad. Coming off that 6-5 win at the Cardinals, he handled adversity pretty well in that. 4 runs, 0 of which were earned, and he got through it enough to get them the 6-5 win. A lot of love here for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Do any of you guys know who is going to be starting for them? And Johnny Guns, by the way, says taking a shot with the A's, no hesitation. So let's take a look at it's very difficult to make reasonable angles, to get paid when we don't know who is going to be throwing for the Pirates. Let's go. From a line history standpoint and weather standpoint, we'll start with the weather in Colorado. We have 72 Fahrenheit, 6.8 miles per hour to left field. Not sticky, not warm. Getting to the line history here for this one. From a line history standpoint, we have very few books that have opened up this action. But Pinnacle has, and there's been very little movement. Pittsburgh's gone from -115 to -113. -115 to -113. When we get to the total here in this one, we have it's sitting at an 11, -113 to the under. This opened up -115 to the under. So just no movement here. And why would there be really any kind of major movement without knowing who the hell is going to be on the bump for the Buccos? We have cash-wise 3,337 tickets in, 62% of tickets, 74% cash on the over. And on the money line, 53% of tickets, 91% of cash, which is all well and good. But you'd have to think if that was, big bets that the books were worried about, they'd be moving the line towards Pittsburgh Pirates, which is not happening. So, Ron Crawford, thank you, my man. Cleveland is the play of the day for the dog situation, but Philly, Tampa Bay, Oakland, Detroit, and LA also on that. So at this point, there's no reasonable angle that I can trust. I imagine you guys on the Pirates are simply fading Feltner and what he's done at home, which is legitimate. Both bullpens have been horrific. Picks from Dave in the house. Nice to see you. Let's roll on. Next up for us here, we have the Chicago White Sox, 18-52, 6-29 on the road at the Arizona Diamondbacks, 33-36, 17-17 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Roof is closed. Chris Flexen going up against Ryan Nelson. Let's get this one all set up for us here. And one thing that messed with me, let me just clarify this one here. I was a little surprised at some of these stats from Flexen. Flexen's been pretty good of late. 2-5, 5.06 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Our guy Billy Friedrich is on Flexen under 15.5 outs. But I kind of like the way he's been throwing. And I've talked about how much he's loved in the clubhouse, and that shouldn't be something that kind of directs us into making a bet, but he's been pretty good for about 3 starts in a row. Last start, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 2 walks, 6-4 loss at home versus the Red Sox. On the road, he's been better than he has been in the thin air of Colorado. A 216 opponent's batting average, 4.23 ERA. And Ryan Nelson's been horrific at home. 339 opponent's batting average. I mean, we're only talking about 25 in the third innings, but he doesn't look good. He didn't look good at the Padres, 13-1 loss there, 5 earned runs. I don't know why he would be backed by anybody. 5.96 ERA, 1.69 WHIP. 7 jacks allowed, 17 walks allowed. I don't see the appeal here. Now, Walker is absolutely raking. Is there a hotter? Oh, sorry, I got to switch the brand. Sorry, my bad. There we go. Is there being a hotter hitter in the league right now? I don't know if there has been. Diamondbacks hitting 258, 739 OPS. Since May 15th, White Sox 207, 613. Robert Franklin moving on the White Sox first 5, and I don't know why he wouldn't. Let's take a closer look here. First off, let's take a look at the line history. This total is sitting at a 9 minus 118 to the over. This opened up at 9, and it went to 8.5 around 2 in the morning. It didn't last there long. Came right back to 9. Right now, we've had 12 cents of movement to the over. Let's go to the money line here for this one, because I find flexing appealing. Again, though, when you look at these two lineups, especially with Walker raking, you need to cut this down as short as possible. Right now we have flexing at plus 167. He opened up, now 171, 19 cents of movement there. That's not good. Not good. So why don't we check the first 5? If the first 5 is completely different, I can find cutting the game down and backing flexing a lot more appealing. I can't get to the Pinnacle line moves, but I can get to the Bovada line moves, Bet Online line moves. That opening up Arizona minus 166, they're now just minus 170. And there was no move. There was a move towards the White Sox and flexing, which I think makes sense. I really do think that makes sense. Morgan Spooner says Christian Walker's killing righties this year, and he owns flexing 3 and 4, 2 extra base hits with a walk. Morgan Spooner betting his hits, runs, and RBI prop when the books give it out. I find this appealing. I find Chris Flexen backing him appealing. Nufflesh Allen says I find much more value in the White Sox team total over. Save the Sox choking. I do find this much, much more appealing. So at this point, what do I want to cut it down to? Let's just take a look and see what Bet365 is offering on the first 3 here. And what was the cash flow on this one? This one had 89% of the tickets and 97% of cash on the Diamondbacks. 89 and 97. 68 and 68 on the over 9. The first 5, let's go to the innings props here. The first 5 is sitting at plus 145, and the first 3 is plus 135. 145, 135, and then 160. Yeah. Mal says Flexen been doing well lately. I'll go through his. I mean, I talked about his last start, but let's go through just a couple more because he's starting to come around, And so Flexen has had 3 straight starts. Now, the reason why Billy Friedrich is loving the outs under is because he never gets to 15.5 ever. Has he all year? He's done it twice? Twice. That's it. But the last 3 starts have been good. They've all been 5 innings, so he's throwing in those starts 15 innings. He's had not allowed 9 hits, 5 earned runs. He has 13 strikeouts and 7 walks. Look, that's not the K to walk ratio that you want, but I don't see why he wouldn't be able to deliver at plus money here for 3 innings. So White Sox first 3 will be my expectation right now. I want to cut it down as short as possible. I don't want. If you use the eye test on Flexen, he looks very hittable. But I'm going to take that first 3, White Sox first 3, cut it down as minimally as possible, and hope that Ryan Nelson just continues to get touched. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. We have 10:10 p.m. action. Kansas City Royals 40 and 30, 15 and 16 on the road at the Los Angeles Dodgers 42 and 28, 22 and 14 at home. We're at Dodger Stadium, Chavez Ravine. God, I miss LA. Let's take a look at the line history and the weather and the cash flow for this one. We have 69 Fahrenheit, 7.2 miles per hour to right field, dies down to 5.5 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history then for this one. This is first 5s up. So why don't we touch on the first 5s before we move on? On the first 5, we have, let's use Bet Online moves. Gavin Stone at minus 125, opened up at minus 140. That's a big move for a book like Bet Online. 15-cent move. That's a huge move. So this opens up at Bet Online at 6:20 in the morning. Again, this is just first 5s, but 15 cents over to Kansas City. So let's immediately talk about what the Dodgers have been doing against lefties, and they've been raking. I mean, raking. 290, 872 OPS. The only team hitting harder against lefties in that time period is the San Francisco Giants, who are also going up against the lefty and Tyler Anderson. Wow, that's just a real legit market move towards Cole Ragans and the LA Dodgers, or excuse me, Cole Ragans and the Kansas City Royals, despite what the Dodgers can do against lefties. Let's see what's happened full game. Full game, we have the Dodgers at minus 150. Opening up minus 147, now minus 150. So we've had no movement. By the way, my dad says anytime Walker Buehler's on the mound, you fade the Dodgers. I didn't think he looked that bad against the Rangers in that last start, but my dad adamant that Buehler must be faded. His velocity's down. He must be faded. This total is sitting at 7.5, and it opened up at 8.5. So we have a huge move to the under, a big, screaming that the very low volatility, the under 7.5 juiced as well. So not only have we moved down a full run, but it's juiced to the under. Sean Anderson to start for Miami. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. And Billy saying, yeah, Flexen doesn't go 5 innings usually. You're absolutely right. I don't dislike your look at all. Remo says, seems like this should be an over 8.5. Coin saying Central Arkansas's finest, Gavin Stone. No, I have not, Kelsey. He's not, it doesn't appeal to him to be on the show. I have had my uncle on the show, though. But my uncle won the Heisman Trophy the year before O.J. Simpson. So he wants the spotlight. It doesn't appeal to my dad. Morgan Spooner says Ragans is a stud. I've almost been blind backing him. I have enough action today to leave this alone, but this has to be Royals or pass. Chosen one leaning towards the Royals, team total over 3.5 and the money line. Gavin Stone's a very good pitcher. 7-2, 2.93 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 53 Ks over 67 and 2/3. His last start, he went 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks, and 11-3 win at the Yankees. I guess I'm just late on this here because it's clear that first 5. But again, I look up. How do you not recognize what the Dodgers have been doing to lefties? As much as Cole Ragans is appealing, and he is, but Gavin Stone's pitching well, and the Dodgers absolutely rake lefties. What are the Royals doing against righties? They're raking too, 266, 767 OPS, and yet this total so low. I've got to stay off of this. So Bobby Witt's birthday from Johnny K2. Jake Byrne says, I bet Royals all year, but I have to fade them against the very good teams like Dodgers, Yanks, and Phillies. This is going to be a pass. As much as this is a pretty interesting gambling spot, it just doesn't correlate the way I would want to. I would want it to correlate. So, number 3, Kelsey, is mine. JPZ says, after the Dodgers took the series versus the Yankees went into KC and showed them what a real baseball team looks like. That's on my mind here. Yeah, I'm going to have to stay off this. Kelly McKinnon says, love seeing the smile on Biggio's face last night playing third. Seeing Cavan in a sold-out Chavez Ravine, I thought, man, what a wild ride that is. And how exciting is it for him? I don't think we should have cut Biggio, I personally. But I know he's not been good. But who has been on that baseball team? All right, that is a no move. We got 2 spots left on today's board. Let's see if we find something here in Texas, Seattle before we get into NBA. Andrew Heaney going up against Luis Castillo. We've heard that Luis Castillo was pushed back for this start at home, T-Mobile in Seattle, Washington. Let's take a look at the line history here. The weather at first for this one. 57 Fahrenheit, 11.2 miles per hour out. That's down to 9.8. The roof will be open. By the way, our guy, UPK Yashala Robert Cherry says, White Sox heating up, like them first 5, but not full game. Rant's passing here on this one. And Morgan Spooner says, I hope Ragans gets touched up. I don't want to lose that value. Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about this Heaney-Castillo spot. Now, Castillo coming off an ugly start at the Royals. 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk. Now he's got the extra day of rest. And also at home, he's been so good. 3-3, 2.95 ERA. Now 244 opponent's batting average, but he's not getting barreled. He gets double plays when he needs them. Also, we have Rangers versus righties. They're just not hitting him. 213, 626 OPS. Coin says Seattle versus a lefty. Texas has to be back. Well, let's talk about what Seattle's doing versus lefties. Since May 15th, they're hitting 186 with a 606 OPS. So when it's all told, it's no difference than what the Rangers are doing versus righties. Like, Andrew Heaney just went up against the team smashing lefties, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good. Rem Mo says too soon to reach out to Helga. Yeah. I think it's too soon. I think we need at least a surface injury first. Especially a concussion, because concussions, you can't sleep with a concussion. Who knows what could happen? Kelsey says, do I have lines? Kelsey, do you think we'd be talking about this movie if I was an extra in this motherfucker? No, we wouldn't be. Do I have lines? Hey guys, guess what? Guess where you can see me in the background? Check me out in this circle jerk. I'm in the background, horrified. No, it's all good. It's all good, Kelsey. Andrew Heaney up against Luis Castillo here. Let's talk about the line history in this one. We have the total at 7. And why wouldn't it be, really? Andrew Heaney just faced the Giants team. We want to talk about the crazy numbers against lefties. The Giants are hitting .295 with an .897 OPS since May 15th against lefties, and Andrew Heaney took care of business. Andrew Heaney also has these inflated numbers. Also, this is a playoff type atmosphere. I get why this is dropped towards the under. Let's see how much it's done. But this opened up at 7. The books weren't messing around. This opened up at 7, and there's still being 5 cents of movement towards the under. This is a fascinating spot. The question is, are we going to be able to trust these bullpens? So let's go over the bullpen numbers, because this is a fun spot. Then you have Luis Castillo at minus 135. He opened up minus 146. I think that's another sign of the fact that Heaney is going to pitch well today, that this market's moving away from Castillo. Let's get into the cash flow. I think that will tell the tale on what I move on here. We have 81% of the tickets and 81% of the cash on the over 7. And of course, why wouldn't it be? Castillo's not pitching well. Heaney has bad numbers, despite we know he just locked down a team that's smashing lefties. And then we have 21% of tickets and 89% cash on Heaney. This is very nice. Oh, wow. We just DFA'd Vogelbach. Crystal Craig says we just DFA'd Vogelbach. Wow. I'm fine with that. I kind of wanted Kevin to stick around. I do not like anything that the brass is doing. I don't know why we picked up Vogelbach in the first place. I don't mind it, though. Thank you for the heads up on that, Crystal. Tommy says it's rare the Mariners put up a lot of runs. It is rare. Let's just go, so this is a first 5 under spot for me. Let's talk about the market move on just the first 5 under alone, because this could be a double up spot for me on unders. This is, pull out the best arms out of the bullpen. This is a statement spot for a Mariners team leading division, going up against the team that's the defending world champions. Let's get to this first 5. This will be that late night action that I'm looking for. It's a 4 at minus 119. I love that it's a 4. Opened up at minus 115, 3-cent move to the under at that number. And then when we get to the bullpens, these are bullpens since May 15th. Donnie Gunn says, why was Castillo moved to this game is interesting. Yeah, give him an extra day off, get him up against the World Series champs. I think it's just all implying that this is a very, very important game. Seattle's bullpen's not been good since May 15th. And Texas is starting to improve here. So much on the line. Kelly McKinnon says, love the early payout by the end of the second period. Same with basketball. The Brooms are out. You know what? The Bobrovsky MVP at 4-1 is what I would love to be the icing on the cake. This could just be this just sick, huge score. We also have game 1 and the series, 400 on the 10-1. We already cashed the 400 on the 5-1 to win the conference. But let's stay focused here on the Rangers Mariners. And look, it's not been a very good year. Well, my final numbers in NHL are going to be very strong, but it hasn't felt like that all year. It's felt like an immense struggle. So Rangers Mariners here, Heaney, Castillo. I like unders, first 5 under, and then that's a for sure bet. And then the full game under is still in question. The bullpens just haven't been that strong. You get Heaney again. The first 5 under has got to be it. The first 5 under has just got to be it. I think it should just be it. I don't know if I want to double up. First 5 under 4 seems like a great spot. Have the 4 for the push. Let's move on to our final game in MLB before we get into NBA with our guys LJ and Billy Brisbane. We have the Los Angeles Angels 26-42, 15-19 on the road at the San Francisco Giants 34-35, 19-15 at home. We're at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Tyler Anderson going up against question mark. Let's get this over here. Let's find out who they expect that question mark to be. We have Spencer Howard. Spencer Howard going to be pitching here for the San Francisco Giants. I didn't even know Howard was on the San Francisco Giants. Let's go move Spencer Howard. And if we got our guy, Nutflush Allen, it'd be nice to hear his thoughts on Spencer Howard. Being passed around this guy out of San Luis Obispo. California is such a factory for pitchers. Second round pick in the 2017 draft, was on the Rangers, was initially on the Phillies. I mean, we remember these numbers from Spencer Howard are horrific. I mean, in 2022, 7.41 ERA over 37 2/3 with a 1.7 whip. His whip in Major League Baseball career-wise is 1.613. He's being horrific. Now, maybe he just goes for an inning. Maybe just an inning here. But let's talk about Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson has been very good this year. 2.63 ERA, 1.15 whip. He just allowed 4 earned runs over 6 innings at home versus the Astros. Now he goes out on the road where he's been excellent all year. 176 opponent's batting average. His K to walk ratio is not where you want it, but he's been getting a lot of soft contact. 24 Ks, 15 walks, 2.27 ERA. The Giants rake lefties, and Spencer Howard is trash. The question is, though, how long does Spencer Howard go? I mean, would they give us 5 innings of Spencer Howard? His last opportunity, he went 4 2/3. Now that was against the Rangers, a team that had given him up for dead. So that's a good sign. I wonder if this is the opportunity to fade Spencer Howard, feeling good about himself, and fade Tyler Anderson as well. JL, thank you for the kind words. So this is our final spot on the board. Let's see if it's trigger pulling time. From a total standpoint, I have the first 5 up. It's at 4.5 at Penny. Opened up at 4.5 minus 119 to the under. It's now minus 115 to the under. So there's been 4 cents of movement to that first 5 over. Let's get to the money line here. From a money line standpoint, let's move over to full game. We have it's sitting with the Giants at minus 146. They opened up at minus 139. 7 cents of movement there. And then the full game total here, the full game total is at 8.5 minus 113 to the under. And it just moved to 8.5 from 8. That was the original. 8 was the original, and it moved over to 8. Let's go here and see if it's still 8 right now, because this might be a bet that should be made right away. Yeah, it's 8 at the pick'em. This is a bet that should be made right away. Let's just touch on the pitchers coming out of the bullpen, because this will be a bet that I will need to make right this second. The Giants' bullpen's been very good. Very good since May 15th. And the Angels' bullpen has not. You know the Giants' bullpen's going to get touched immediately. Let's get to the health of this bullpen, and then we will move on to NBA. Let's get this up here. I think this is a bet that I will have to make as soon as we bring on our stars of the NBA breakdown here. And let's take a look at the Giants. Yeah, the Giants are rested. This bullpen's going to be very, very much ready to go. They didn't play yesterday. And the Angels lost 11-1, and they didn't use anybody, which would mean that we have to focus on the first 5. That's not what I want, though. But you have to, because this Giants bullpen pitching well and rested. The first 5, they're giving me a 4, but it's heavily juiced. I think it should be bet right away. What What are they going to give me at Penny? Will they give me a better number? I think that it's a possibility here. I think this needs to be bet a sap. Get that 4. The first half has already moved to 4.5 at Penny. God, it's so juiced. Oh, it's a trick, man. Minus 130 is so expensive. But it's expensive for a reason. It's minus 133 at Penny. Oh, God, I think this is set up here. First 5 over. Aubrey Travis says the books think it'll go under. Which books, Aubrey? Because Pinnacle just moved it from 8 to 8.5, and this line just came out. So, I mean, it's okay. We don't need to agree with – we deal with the cash flow and the market analysis however you see fit. If you can use it to back up your plan, then that's fine. But I think Pinnacle certainly feels like this is going to go over. That's why they've moved it to 8.5 before any other book has. God, maybe this is just it's just the problem is that you almost have to take the 4.5. I think you have to take the 4.5, but it's so nice to have the 4 in for a push. I'm gonna have to make a move on this. I think there's going to be runs here. Let's just quickly touch on the weather in San Francisco. 60 Fahrenheit, 17.5 miles per hour right now. We know that's not a big deal. Don't get too caught up in that. It's swirling winds. I think Tyler Anderson can get touched by a team raking lefties. I don't even think Spencer Howard is the biggest problem, but he's certainly a problem. Now, Angels don't rake, and especially against righties, but Spencer Howard sucks. Now, we've watched bad pitchers look okay in Oracle. Reginald says that San Francisco fans always under in games. I don't know why, even with bad pitchers. No, I feel you. I've got to decide that, Kelsey, because that first 5 over 4 is so juiced. I think the full game over 8 is the most appealing, but the Giants bullpen is fresh and pitching really well against an 8. I think it has to be first 5. I think there's a reason why that first 5 is so juiced. I think it has to be. Let me get this first 5 here. Okay, I've got a message from our Jose Bouquet. Nufflush says this is a great spot for a 1.5. Okay. Great spot for the team total. I think you're right. Oh, no, I'm going over for sure, Kelsey. Nufflush says this is a good spot for San Francisco team total. I think you're absolutely right. It's a great spot for the San Francisco team total. What they've been doing against lefties, you get San Francisco's bullpen out of it. I'm more comfortable with that. You could take the first 5 over and the Giants team total, which is tricky, I guess. I mean, you might even want to turn that into a 4 as well. That's a 3.5. The 4.5 over 4.5 plus 105. Okay, I've got to figure that out, and I think I've got to move on this very soon. Giants team total over. Benjamin saying both bullpens are fresh. Yes, they're fresh, but I don't care about a fresh Angels bullpen. We could be fresh all I want. They're still not good. It's the Giants bullpen being fresh that I'm most uncomfortable with, Benjamin. Okay, let's review all action here in MLB, and then let's talk NBA. Brizzy will be sticking around for WNBA. So let's review all MLB action. Gerald Jones is on the Twins run line. Morgan Spooner is on Dansby. Swanson hits, runs, and RBIs over 1.5. Jay Smoothball's play today is Chris Sale over 7.5 strikeouts, a plus 102. The Pissy Cheerios play today for Morgan Spooner is your San Diego Padres. Says 4 teams have swept the Athletics this year. Boston, Cleveland, Houston, and Kansas City. All 4 teams went on to win their next game and their next series. Troy Torrance is on the Braves. That's the cash cow. Cubs first 5 money line in the over in the Brewers game. Ron Crawford, the spreadsheet dog, play of the day is the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland Guardians going up against the Toronto Blue Jays. That is the spreadsheet dog play of the day, which has been a thing of beauty. 15-9 plus 11.69 units. Shout out to our Ron Crawford. Then Lamont Williams is max betting the Cardinals' first 5. He's going up against Troy Torrance in that game that pops off here in 37 minutes. Yeah, that's possible, Kelsey, because they haven't announced the starting pitcher for the Giants. We just expect it to be Spencer Howard. But that's so a lot of books will hold off until they know exactly who is starting. Yankees, Red Sox, we stayed off. And then first 5 under and the Marlins are what appeal to me in this Marlins Nats series. Now we have to wait on if Max Meyer is going to be the starter. So I'm going to wait on that. Jose gets his card started with the over 7 at -110 in the Phillies Orioles spot. And Cab is on the Phillies team total over 3.5. Guardians, Blue Jays, there's been no action from us. This was a card that I thought would illuminate some spots that didn't. So I don't have much action. Cab has the Padres team total over 4, and he's got Fernando Tatis Jr. over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Rays, Braves, Littell, Sale, no action. I get started with the Brewers on the -1 line. A big 20-cent move towards the Brewers, and I have no problem taking -1s on the home team. A lot of people don't like it. I have no problem with it, and I have no problem pushing bets. It doesn't make me angry. I want to cut the vig down in any way I can. I'm also going to be on the Astros. There's a lot of love for the Astros. Gamblers First Glance from Razor Sharp Picks. Justin McKelvey, Stacks Play of the Day, also on the Astros. Going up against Treek Scuball. Now we have DC Capper on the other side of that spot. Then 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Billy Friedrich, Pig Milk Play of the Day is the A's first 5 plus a half. Pig Milk Play of the Day has been spectacular. 31 and 20 plus 12.69 units. And it's got me off of Simeon Woods Richardson. It's a pretty expensive proposition. I was surprised that the total went from 8.5 to 9, implying there was more volatility than I was expecting, and I ended up getting off of it. By the way, the Cleveland Guardians are the spreadsheet dog play of the day, but he also is Philly, Tampa, Oakland, Detroit, and the Angels. We stayed off of Pirates, Rockies. I'm going to be on the White Sox first 3. Flex and Ryan Nelson, White Sox first 3. Royals, Dodgers, we stayed off. And then I'm going to be on the first 5 under in Rangers, Mariners. First 5 over in Angels, Giants, and the Giants team total over. That is our MLB breakdowns. And we've been running nice. 16-6 in our last 22 MLB bets. But the season's not gone well. So I haven't, the run, I haven't tweeted out the run or anything like that. I mean, you have to be succeeding to tweet. You don't just pull yourself out of a ditch and say, look, I got out the ditch. All right. Kent Davies in the house. Thank you, Kent. This was a gift from the Big Ragu. This is the Jay's spring training hat. And shout out to our guy, Doc, as well. Dommy Gunricci on the Yankees under 9.5. Baltimore over 7. And he's leaning to the Tampa Bay Rays. Thank you for the kind words, Kelsey. And it added by Dommy Gun. Dommy Gun has added Tampa Bay Rays. We got to get Dommy Gun on screen with us. Dommy, let me know when you are available. We need you. We miss you. And sometimes it takes losing a friend to get the family back together. And if that's the case, so be it. Kent Davis has been taking a break, but going to get back in action. We love that, Kent. I had the pleasure of hanging out with Kent in San Antonio, and just quality, man. He's just quality. So thank you. Thank you guys all for rocking with us. Jose's on his way to Dallas for Game 4, American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. It's time to talk NBA. So let's bring on our squad, our experts. First off, you saw him break down the Houston Astros spot. And that is a first 5 over 3.5 for LJ. First 5 over 3.5 in that Tigers Astros spot. Shane Kim says, how much you have to make a month and how much you have to start with betting for you to survive? Can you lace me up? What do you think helps you take care of your family with this? It's very, very, very difficult. In fact, I think we should do a whole show on it. Now, we've done one before at odds, but I think we can do it better than what we did. What unit size you need. And the pros that I know, they slip out of their unit size way more than I do. When they see the slam dunk opportunities, they attack them. I think that needs an entire show, Chang. But if you are going to hit 53%, then you're not. What's your unit size going to be? $5,000 a unit. I think we should do a whole show on it. I think it's a really, really important thing. And we did one, what it takes to be, a professional gambler. And at that point, I thought that your unit size had to be $2,000. That's what I thought. To raise a family off solely gambling alone. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case. There are spots that you can attack harder, and you must. So the key is you got to hit 54.6%. You can't be talking about 52.4. That's the first key. I don't think there is really an amount. It's not about just beating the VIG. It's about raising a family. It's not about just finishing in the black. So I think it's a really long conversation, Chang, that I think we need to bring experts in and bring pro gamblers in. And, a pro gambler was Teese. Teese gambled for a living and was, paying for his daughter through university with gambling. And he did not feel that your unit size had to be too high. He just thought your winning percentage had to be. And he would do that. And that's why he focused on WNBA and college basketball, because he could hit 60%. One of the misconceptions is the 52.4%. A winning gambler is very different than a professional gambler. Very different. So I think it really depends. It needs a longer episode, and I'd like to do that. Swiggy saying 1% of your bankroll, so $10K to get $100 bets. I mean, $100 bets. What are you going to hit 85%? As $100 bets, you're just not moving the needle. Get the family back in Parkdale ASAP. That was the case. So, yeah, I think we will. I think it's important. But Benjamin Mills kind of depends on how successful you are. I think that's more of the key. When you see the cappers that put out, I mean, how few cappers are there in the industry that actually put out their honest records with every single bet they put out? I mean, you can't find them because it's very hard to hit over 52.4%. And if you're selling picks, then you don't want people to know that how hard it is to hit 52.4%. And if you're buying picks and you add that to what you need the person you're buying picks off of to hit, it's not 52.4% anymore because you're buying the picks. So again, this creates a much longer conversation that I think that we really need to have, and I think we'll do a better job of it. So, and it's another spot that guys like Dami Gunrici, these are the guys that you want to be around, is the vets in the industry who know it inside and out, know what it takes to that's why our group, it's so eclectic. It's also so special because we have cappers at all ages being in the game at all sorts, and that's what makes pub special. And I think these episodes are crucial, so we'll talk about it. Mikey Money says, I had to bring back the Pimp Slap play today specifically for this one. Cleveland Guardians at plus 120. Yeah, Mikey, I couldn't move on Gaussman today. But the Pimp Slap play of the day is the Guardians at plus 120, and that correlates with our guy Ron Crawford, who's got his action in his play days also on the Guardians. So, but yeah, it's an important question, Chang. And Kent Davies says, I think it should be illegal to be limited or blocked by books if you're good. I mean, that's the biggest problem in the industry. Now, Kent Davies, he makes bets at a level, we're talking like $1,000 a bet, where now you can talk about the possibility of really bringing in income. So we got lots to talk about, of course, and I think they're important conversations. All right, it's time to talk NBA Finals. Let's bring on our first guest. You saw him breaking down the Houston Astros, and we love capping with him. Please welcome from Houston, Texas, home of Scarface. Please welcome LJ from HTown. LJ, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Jimmy. Friday. Glad to join you once again. And hopefully we have a different result tonight in this NBA game. Remains to be seen.
Yes, it remains to be seen. We've got both the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals 3-0 right now. Can either of them keep the series alive is the question. Can either of them keep the series alive? Kent Davies says, I also have the possibility of financial ruin. I have a 9-to-5, couldn't do this shit full time, much respect. Yeah, Kent Davies, another great guy to work with and hang out with. It was great hanging out with you in San Antonio. It was just for a day, but it was great, man. And so there are a lot of important discussions that need to be made. Andrew G says I make my picks on this app, on this app using just this show, and he's hitting at 56% in all sports. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Let's bring on our next guest. We got South Jersey in the house. We are a three-headed monster today. Please welcome our guy, Mr. Billy Brisbane. Brizzy, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Nice little Friday here. Not my favorite slate of games, but here we are. Let's make some money.
It's great to have you, Brizzy, and thank you for sticking around for WNBA action as well. Well, let's get this started. Here we go. Let me move this over to Boston, Dallas, game 4. It has been a very impressive performance by the Green. I thought that I predicted one of the few predictions that were right in the game that Porzingis would not play. And I don't expect him to play tonight. I don't see why you would risk him just in case Dallas wins game 4. Don't you want him ready to go at home with your doctors who will say he's ready to go if he's actually that close, which another thing that I don't really believe he is that close. Let's get into the situation here. We'll talk odds. We'll talk cash. We'll set up the X's and O's, and then we'll let our experts roll. First off, the Dallas Mavericks are +1 at -110 at Penny. They opened up at +1 at -109. And then they went to -1.5. This was -1.5. This was a market clearly moving towards the Mavericks and stopped moving towards the Mavericks. Let's get a better idea of it if we look at the money line. From a money line standpoint here, we have Dallas at -105. Now, these are just 10 cents of VIG at Pinnacle, which makes the book very appealing to gamblers. They opened up -104. They're now -105. They didn't move that much. I know I said that they were -1.5. So this did move to -117. There had been a 13-cent move to the Dallas Mavericks. So that came all the way back. That came all the way back to the point where Dallas got to plus money. And again, Dallas moves to -109. Here they are right now with 1 cent of movement towards them. Let's talk about the total. Unders have cashed in all 3 games of this playoff series, and the Operation Garcia has smashed and grabbed. And, when we talked about Operation Garcia, a lot of the NBA experts were like, well, can't you whittle it down? And can't you pick some player and whittle it down? And the key is not to whittle down any players. The key is to whittle down the games. Clearly, the Indiana Pacers are the worst possible thing for Operation Garcia, because what you need for Operation Garcia to succeed, which is all the player props under, you need defensive intensity and star players who could have an outlier performance. If one guy goes for 50, you're getting paid in full. If you have a team like the Pacers that really spread the offense out, you're just in big trouble. And the Pacers series cost me a lot of money. This total is at 210.5 right now. It opened up at 212, a 1.5 move towards the under. Let's get into the cash here. From a cash flow perspective. Sorry, let me get that's not. What is it? Here we go. Cash-wise in this one, and this will be very interesting because we're going to have an enormous amount of tickets in. Not yet, 31,337 tickets. On the spread, it's 76% of tickets, 72% cash on Boston. On the money line, it's 60% of tickets, 70% of cash on Boston. And with the total, 88% of tickets and 88% cash on the over. And the line's dropping. So let's set up some quick X's and O's. One of the things that the sweaty butcher talked about was how easily the Celtics won in game 2 despite going 10 of 39 from 3. That's the sign that a team doesn't need to heat up from the perimeter to beat you. That's a dangerous. That was dangerous. I probably should have taken more into that, because here in the playoffs right now, not the playoffs, in this series, Boston's only shooting 33.9% from 3. Now that number looks pretty good when you look at Dallas shooting 28.2% from 3. Before we get into the X's and O's, I cannot fathom, and it has to be the first thing that's talked about, what Jason Kidd's plan was with the rotation. I can't. Tim Hardaway playing 19 minutes. It's as
That
if
was wild, dude. We were joking about it pre-flop about like, will we see Tim Hardaway? No, we're gonna see him for 20 minutes. What the fuck? He scored 5 points in the last 2 months.
and he scored 0 in those 19 minutes. The only possible explanation is Jason Kidd's close friends with his father. Now, other than that, I was like, what else could it possibly be? What else could what reason? If you look at Kleba and Tim Hardaway they were on the floor for 27 minutes. They were outscored horrifically. I mean, it was mind-boggling. There was no player props for Hardaway. No, there you go, because no one thought he would play. And here he plays 19 minutes. Dante Exum threw down a hard dunk, and it was a we're coming to play, and then we never see him again. I can't comprehend the player rotations. Now, what do we know about teams up 3-0? They're 156-0. They've never lost the series. Now, we did see a game 7 after the Heat went up 3-0 on the Celtics, which was very exciting. But this Boston Celtics team has won 10 straight games and is undefeated on the road in the postseason, 7-0. So no Kristaps Porzingis, no problem. I didn't think that was the case. Al Horford and Xavier Tillman, giving the Celtics exactly what they need from their bigs was shocking. Tatum steps up. He goes for 31. The Celtics defense has held the Mavs to under 100 points in each of the first 3 games. The Mavs get 62 points from Luka and Kyrie in game 3. If I had told you you're going to get 62 from Luka and Kyrie, I guess it's 2-1 going into game 4. The other 9 players scored 37 minutes. They scored 37 points. The other 9 players, 37 points. Kyrie stepped up. Everybody except Jose Bouquet said that he would, and he did. I don't know. How could he play better? The Celtics have beaten the Mavericks in every facet of the basketball series. 66 more passes, 11 more assists, 3.3 more secondary assists. The Celtics are 6-0 in clutch games in the playoffs. They have outscored their opponents in clutch possessions. This is the craziest stat I've read in a long time. By 46.9 points per 100 possessions. I mean, when the stakes are high, the Celtics team steps up. Now, I was bothered by the emoting from Luka. If I have money on a basketball team, I don't want to see clear signs that the other team is under the star player's skin. And then, there's the smiling. Luka does a lot of smiling, but you could see he was so irritated and agitated, and we know he's hurting. We know he's pretty much broken, but can he step up for one game? I don't know. But I think Kyrie can again. I can't believe we've come to this point in the series where I'm saying, Kyrie will, but will Luka? Now, I took flack for comparing Luka to slow-mo Joe Ingles. But that's what I'm seeing out there. Now, part of it, I thought it was funny, and part of it, I knew it would get under Dutch's skin. But that's what I'm seeing out there. We thought Luka was slow before. Banged up Luka in the 4th round of the playoffs is real slow. Can Luka step up? What bet should we make? Let's go. We'll start with you, LJ from HTown. Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Your plan of attack.
Yeah, Jimmy. As we all know, I was wrong for the most part. As we see that, I expected a total different turnout in this series. I expected Dallas to play much better that they've been playing. But as we can see, they're just pretty much outmatched. And the fact that you only can get scoring from 2 players, it's going to be hard when you have at least 4 or 5 players on the other team that can create their own shots and get buckets. So for the most part, man, I don't think Dallas is definitely not going to win this series. I only can hope that they could just hold off tonight so that the Celtics won't raise that trophy on Dallas's home court, which is pretty much embarrassing, for the most part. But I'm going to attack it early, Jimmy. I'm hoping Dallas can come out early, put up shots, get some points up, get the lead early, sort of like how they did the last game, even though the Celtics did come back in that first quarter. So, but I'm going to take a shot on the over, Jimmy. First quarter, over 54.5. They're averaging around 56 points in the first quarter in the series. Celtics have scored 30-plus points in 6 straight first quarters in the playoffs. So I believe they're going to score 30 again. They've been doing it. And if Dallas can give me 30, I believe it goes over that 54.5. But it all depends on shots. I mean, Dallas is getting killed at the three-point line. They put up 78 three-point shots, Jimmy, and they've only hit 22. Mind you, Boston, double-digit three-pointers made in all 3 games, 17, 10, and 16. So they're just getting blew out from the three-point line, and Dallas can't make up those possessions, especially when you're going one-on-one, the ball's not moving, and people are just standing around and the ball's getting stuck. It's just not going to happen. You've already mentioned the assists. They're plus 14 in game 1, plus 8 in game 2, plus 11 in game 3. So if you're not making assists, you're not distributing the ball, it's hard for you to score and keep up with the other team that's consistently giving you points, especially from the three-point line. So first play, Jimmy, first quarter over 54.5. And I'm just going to jump on the under. You just mentioned the under has went over 3 straight games in this series, and Boston is 5-2 to the under on the road in the playoffs. So let's stick to the under. I got it at 212 when it first opened up. I know it's dropped now, but I'll take the 211. If you got it 211, I'll take that to the under. But I got 212. But it doesn't matter. I think it goes under. I don't think Dallas can score enough. Now, the only thing that could stop me from getting faith is that if Luka comes out and just don't say nothing to the refs, I mean, completely silent. Like, I think that would just throw everybody off psychologically, just to be like, what's going on with him? But I don't think he'll be able to do it. I just think that's in him. He's very competitive. And when things aren't going his way, he seems to cry, and that's when you get out of the game and people start losing respect for you as a player. So I like Luka, man. I thought he was going to perform better, but hopefully he could show us something tonight, something historic to keep this series going. But I highly doubt it. I'm leaning that the Celtics do sweep, just considering how good they are on the road. But I'm just going to stick to the first quarter over, go over in the under 212. Those are my 2 plays.
If you cash the first quarter really comfortably, are you going to move live on the number that's available?
Yes, definitely. That's my plan, at least. But we'll see how the game is going. But yeah, I definitely will move on it live.
And talk in the chat is the only chance that the Mavs have if Boston wants to win at the Garden. Do you think that's a possibility? Because my concern and I think of Kobe immediately is you just don't want to give them one sliver of hope. You want to.
I would think they're trying to knock them out, but Boston is going to see how Dallas come out. We already know it. They're going to know in that first quarter if Dallas is serious about winning this game. Boston's sense of urgency is probably not going to be that much because they're 3-0. But psychologically, you don't want to give a team hope, but Boston is the best team in the league, man. And losing 4 straight is highly, highly unlikely, in my opinion. So I believe if they slip up and lose tonight, they'll take care of business in game 5 back home.
Yes, I think they'll take care of business in game 5 at home, but I just don't. God, imagine Kobe saying, imagine asking Kobe, would you rather win it at home? Oh God, Kobe would he would stare daggers right through you. You would never be able to ask Kobe another question again. God, I feel so bad for not loving him more when he was alive than I love him right now. And if anybody hasn't seen the Redeem Team on Netflix, gotta watch it as soon as possible. It'll make you love Kobe, forever and ever and ever and ever. Brizzy, my man, NBA Finals Game 4. Take it away.
Man, Friday night, and the first thing I see when I look at the game is fucking Scott Foster being the referee for this one. say what you want about it. This kind of reminds me of the last series with Minnesota and Denver. He kind of extended that series, but then you kind of look at Scott Foster and his history with Jason Kidd. It's not really well, dating back to when Jason Kidd was a player. Him and Scott Foster have gotten in the beast. Out of the 103 referees in the pool to select for the NBA Finals, the Mavericks' second worst is Scott Foster, 16 and 25 ATS with Scott Foster reffing games. It's been really bad. The Celtics are 8-0 straight up, 7-1 with Scott Foster as a ref this season, 30-8 straight up. And since 2019-2020, 27 and 11 ATS, the best among out of the referees selected in the pool. So are the bookies kind of trying to pull a trick? Everybody sees Scott Foster as the referee. They kind of want to see the series get extended. Game 5 would be Monday night, so we would get an extra day of NBA. Kind of conflicting thoughts, but the thing I keep on going back towards is Dallas has any hope of winning this game, they have to fucking score. Because if you guys want to get into a track meet with the Celtics, that's the way that they're approaching the series. They're not doing it defensively. They want to outshoot the Celtics. They're going to have to run them off the floor, attack the paint, get them in foul trouble, make the refs have their hands folded behind their back, and you have to call the foul. But some of the yin and the yang is also Dallas is just not defending well. It's not even like the Celtics are really even playing that good. It's like Dallas just isn't defending well. It's a lack of effort. And this kind of goes back to like betting philosophy in theory for me. I mean, shit, betting on the PFL last night, watching fucking 40-year-old truck drivers fight for every fucking dollar for a 10-10 fight. And then I'm going off to a couple prima donnas that had hurt the next day. They're kind of, it kind of puts you in a weird situation. Like, sometimes I kind of like betting on the bump fights and the little bit lower level of sports. It kind of seems like there's a bigger edge than the NBA Finals. It's hard for me to bet Dallas because there's just a lack of effort. Regardless if they win or lose tonight, I just don't like putting my money on a team that hasn't shown me any effort. Like, it's the NBA Finals, bro. Like, you're not playing on a fucking blacktop court. You're not diving for balls. There's no defensive intensity. There's no, we want this more than the Celtics. We don't care how good this team is. It's just a lack of just effort for me. So with that being said, I do kind of like the over. I kind of want to connect Dallas towards it. Dallas in the over 209.5. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking in the last game. Was thinking, this is dead under. It's going to be like game 2 all over again. We're going to cash this under. Not only are we going to cash the under, we're going to switch it up on the bookies. We're going to put Dallas on the ticket instead of Boston. And it was just like, no, you had a good bet with the under. Why the fuck did you put Dallas on the ticket? So it's kind of making me a little bit hesitant of putting Dallas with the over. But more times than not, though, I'm going to be on the over here in this Boston-Dallas game, 210.5. I mean, fuck. First 3 games went under. Dallas hasn't even came close to cracking 100 points. Dallas is, regardless of how the game goes, if the starters are in by the end of the game, then that means the game is close. And then if the bench players are going to be in there and they just fold their hands and quit, I would imagine the bench players would want to make a little impact on the NBA Finals. So I like the up and over the total here. I could see this. I could see a lot of passive victories for either team. I feel like the total's connected towards who you think is going to win. Obviously, if the Celtics won the first 3 games in the series and all 3 games went under, then the under is connected with the Celtics and the over is more connected with Dallas. Dallas is going to have to score. I think Dallas is alive, but if Dallas is alive and they're going to have to score, I should just be betting the over, not Dallas.
That makes sense here. But if you are betting a total that is combining with Dallas's success in this basketball game, how do you see the rotation going? In the most important game of the season, with no garbage time, 11 players saw the floor for the Dallas Mavericks. I've never seen that in my life. Not my entire life.
That's why I can't bet Dallas. Like, I can't bet Dallas. Like, there's something about it. It's screaming gentleman sweep. We're going back to Boston Monday. But it's one of those, like, I hate this. Like, you kind of want to be on the move before it moves, and that would be Dallas. But, like, there is a little preconceived notion of, like, betting bias of watching the NBA Final Series. Shit, Dallas could lose this game. The over still end up hitting. Like, I can definitely see a lot of ways the over could hit. Like, Boston could just blow out Dallas and the over hits, or Dallas actually scores, covers the spread, like make the game close, and we're back and forth for a little bit here, and they end up losing by 1. It's not like the spread's like 4 or 5, where like you're basically betting on who you think is going to win the game, and everybody thinks the Celtics are going to win.
Yep.
The books don't know what the hell Jason Kidd is going to do. There's 7 player props available for the Mavericks. There's been 9 all series long, and they're taking just a beating of epic proportions on the Dallas player props. So, LJ, you've been on.
Derek Jones. I don't think we're going to see Derek Jones. He went out there and remember watching it on the live stream. The first rotation, he got a dunk because I had the player prop in the same game parlay. He got the dunk, and then he airballed 2 threes and got subbed out and didn't sub in for the rest of the game. That's what opened up the Tim Hardaway minutes. I think we're going to see Josh Green out there. You have to do something. Like, he can
Hardy. You got Hardy too.
Yeah, but Hardy can't defend. He'll give energy, and maybe the energy is what they need. But I mean, Josh Green is 6'6". He should be out there. He can shoot a 3 and play defense. I mean, fuck. I mean, point prop 3.5 tonight. I feel like he could sneeze and probably hit that.
Jones's prop is down to 6.5.
5.5 on FanDuel at -122, juice towards the over, which was at -125, juice towards the over in the last game. And he went over 8 out of his last 11 home games and just didn't play that whole entire game because he airballed 2 shots.
LJ, were you surprised that Lively played 30 minutes and Gafford played 16?
Yeah, I'm very surprised because I expected Gafford to play a lot of minutes considering the paint is now vulnerable with Porzingis being out. But I guess Kidd just doesn't see the effort. He's trying to figure out who's going to give him the best effort and I guess these guys aren't showing it. And Luka is running out of gas. Kyrie's trying to do his best. They just don't have enough, man, unless Boston just lay down tonight and just let Dallas win for the most part. Because, like I said, if Dallas come out and just start hitting threes, because they haven't been hitting them. If they just start hitting threes all of a sudden tonight, then, hey, we'll see a different game. But they're going to have to keep up with Boston offensive production because they're not slacking off. Any guy
anymore, LJ. The only way Dallas wins this game is if they just get randomly hot. They haven't gotten hot yet.
They're going to have to. They haven't hit double-digit threes in none of the 3 games. They've been under double-digit threes. So if that changes, hey, we'll see. But I don't see what else they can do, man. They have to make shots. And like you say, they have to defend, especially in situations where you see Boston attacking. You have to defend because the one-on-one, letting them drive by, hoping that the help defense come, you're leaving players vulnerable on the other side of the court. And that's how Boston are getting their shots. They pass that last line of defense, open shot. Dallas is trying to run out to contest, and it's too late. So
sometimes I wonder, as like sports bettors, we're just drinking, smoking, watching the games, and we can tell what adjustments need to be made on the screen. What the fuck is going on in the front office? It kind of feels like a just like fold of like cards, like a we quit type of situation scenario. So like. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much.
The player prop market has been just wild in this one. Pritchard, who's cashed for us nonstop in the unders, his player prop down to 2.5. 1-3. Pritchard needs 1-3. He's going to take 4 of them. 1-3, and you cash the over. Luka is up to 32.5 juice to the over.
Wow.
If I gave you a free $500 bet right now on Luka at 32.5 points, let's start with you. LJ, would you take the over or the under? Take
No,
the under?
I wouldn't. Yeah, I take the under because he may just hit 30.
I would
about you?
take the over. I would take the over, no hesitation, and ask, can I put money on the 3-point prop? Because that shit was cashing for a minute. And then I don't know what happened last game. He was just bricking 3 after 3 after 3. But Luka in a closeout game, if he wasn't passing the ball before, he ain't passing that bitch now.
Kelly McKinnon says, I think Don Cherry said it best. If my aunt had a penis, she would be my uncle. Kelly, I don't think people use a penis in that joke. Penis takes away. I think it's balls. I think it's balls. You're not going to hear a lot of punchlines with penis in it. But I hear you, Kelly. He says, I truly believe Boston want it done tonight and don't want to wait to do it. Andrew G saying Luka is getting chest injections. What he really needs is 6 beers pregame. So there is under for LJ and over for Brizzy. Last one, Kyrie Irving, 24.5 points. Give you a free $500 bet. LJ, would you?
Yeah, I'll take Kyrie over 24.5 because that's all he's there for is score. You know, he's not playing any defense. So yeah, I would definitely take Kyrie over 24.5.
I love you, Kelly. I love it. Don't worry, buddy. It's good. It's just fun. Brizzy.
Fuck, man. It kind of goes against everything I just said in the last 20 minutes, but I take the fucking under on Kyrie. I mean, man, was he shooting fucking efficient in that last game, man? Like, not like an efficiency, but like it felt like a lot of those one-on-one isolation shots. If it wasn't against Sam Hauser, he was hitting it. There's something about him when this is just a random side note. I don't know what when they see Sam Hauser on the court, man, everyone just like, oh, this is my highlight moment, and then they just end up bricking the jump shot. I think Sam Hauser might get more minutes tonight. His point prop's at 4.5 tonight.
5.5 here.
Yeah, 4.5 on FanDuel. He was red fucking hot from the 3-point line for the Celtics. And Derek White, point prop in the first quarter. He kind of had an underwhelming performance in the last one, but he cashed it pretty easily in the other games in the series. I think the 3.5 at plus 125 is pretty wild. He's averaging 4.1 points per game in the first about 9 minutes in the first quarter this season. And then without Porzingis, it goes up to 4.7 points per game in 10 minutes. So he's gonna get the shot attempts in the last game in game 3, the one without Porzingis active. He had 3 field goal attempts in the first quarter, and each of the first 3 field goal attempts were either wide open or open jump shots, and he missed all 3. So if he hits 2 of the 3, he probably goes over to 2.5, or I think it's 3.5 plus 125. That's a really low point prop for Derek White. 3.5 plus 122 on FanDuel is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and the full game 15.5. It's funny. He's had every time he's had a player prop at 15.5. Now I'd have to go over it again from my Garcia project, but I feel like he goes for 16. He clears that by a half point every time. They either set it up at 15.5 for 16.5, and we'll have to see how that all bangs out. Great stuff, gentlemen. LJ on the first quarter over 54.5 and the full game under 211. If he cashes the first quarter over 54.5, he's going to add to his full game under. Brizzy on the other side on the over 210.5. No sides here. I'm going to be on Operation Garcia, and that's it. I can't back the Mavericks. I can't do it. Maybe I'm leaving money on the table, not backing the Celtics. It was just that their ability to handle no Kristaps Porzingis was shocking. Absolutely shocking to me. And I still need time to sit with this all, which I will do. We have Joseph Gomez says, if you can explain what the Lakers front office is doing long-term, you would be the guy from Goodwill Hunting. Can you imagine the state of your team that you offer somebody $70 million to coach and they go, nah.
I mean, that's got to be the hardest job to coach. There hasn't been a consecutive coach for 3 seasons in the LA Lakers front office since Phil Jackson. So near a decade.
That's wild, man. God, How about Phil Jackson's legacy with the New York Knicks coaching them, man? Ooh-wee.
Wasn't good.
No, it was
Dude, look
not.
at Porzingis now, man. Boy's flying out here. I mean, I don't think Porzingis plays tonight. Side note, I was watching some doctor talk about this. His injury is an injury that he could get surgery for immediately, but the problem is for him to play, they would have to wrap his ankle around a certain way that would put enough pressure on his foot that he would be able to jump and run around. But as that would happen throughout the game, that pressure would end up making his foot go dead, and they would have to re-wrap it every quarter. So if you saw a basketball game with the person getting their foot wrapped that was 7'1" on the bench every quarter, the league would probably get in trouble.
Oh, that reminds me of Todd McCullough. Man, it sucked that he lost the feeling in his feet. Imagine getting that big contract from the Sixers and having a career as a pinball player.
Don't get me started on Todd McCullough.
Hey, we love him up here, Brizzy. We love him. We love Todd McCullough up here, man. Great job, you guys. Brizzy's going to stick around for WNBA. LJ, my man, thank you for rocking with us. Been great having you rolling with us through the playoffs. We've missed you here on the show. Please follow our guy on X at LJ Sports Media. LJ from HTown Sports Media, right? Is that the exact handle?
No, it's at LJ Sports Media.
Okay, at LJ Sports Media. LJ Sports Media. I love capping with you, LJ. Also, Raw Words podcast. We got NFL 6 weeks away, something like that. Not long.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot going down, LJ. So, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show, my guy?
Hey, man, everybody just stay up, keep cashing, enjoy this money this weekend, man, and continue to show love. Like I said, I want to give another extra shout out to Teese, man. Rest in peace. Good guy. I was very, very fortunate to meet him, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just always make sure you tell your loved ones you love them. You never know. So
well put.
But yeah, man, y'all be out, stay safe, and let's keep cash.
There he is, LJ from H-Town. All right, let's talk WNBA, Brizzy, and we're on a bit of a time limit. I have to go pick up Ella in about 10 minutes. Let's get into WNBA. Let me switch this over. Jose is on his way up right now to Dallas. Jose on his way up to Dallas for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. We move on to WNBA, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the Chicago Sky 4-7, 3-2 on the road at the Washington Mystics, 1-12, 0-5 at home. What a debacle of a season for the Mystics. Let's get into the line history here and see what our guy Brizzy is doing, what moves he's making. For those of you interested in our horse race, we are moving to 3 races next week. So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll do one with Peter Loshak, and then we'll do them Thursday, Friday. So Tuesday will be the first one. Let's get into the line movement here in Game 1 of the 2-game slate. Use BetOnline openers because BetOnline got to the market first. We have the Chicago Sky opening up at -1. Within 2.5 hours, moving to -2, and then back to 1. 1.5, back to 1.5. And then yesterday afternoon, the Chicago Sky get up to -3.5 at BetOnline. This has been moving all over the place. This morning, you could have got them again at -1.5, bouncing all over the place. At 10:30, it was back at -3. Sitting here at -2.5, a 1.5 point move from the opener. From a total standpoint, we're sitting here with a 159 juice to the over. This opened up at 157.5 and dropped to 157 5 hours later. Since then, it's just climbed. Now we're at 159, a 1.5 move to the under. When we get to the cash flow here for this one, we have, here we go. We have 67% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on the Sky. The line's moving in their direction. On the total, we have 34% of tickets on the over and no cash flow information. Brizzy, take it away. Sky Mystics.
Yeah, I mean, shouts to Washington Mystics. That they might have been the best 0-14 team I've ever seen in fucking sports history. I don't know how they didn't win a game throughout their first 14 games. Cashed in back-to-back games on the Washington Mystics first half team total over. They ended up getting that win against Atlanta last night or a couple nights ago, but kind of somewhat of underwhelming when considering Atlanta was down by fucking 20 points to the Indiana Fever yesterday. Not a good basketball team. But my first impression of this line was it kind of stinks, but the way these two teams have been trending, it kind of makes sense. The Sky are coming off back-to-back losses, first road game after 2 home games. The Mystic are off of 2 days of rest, first home game after a 2-game road trip where they got their first win of the season. When it comes to line functionality, this line opened at +1 on FanDuel, moved to -2.5. And when looking at the layers, it kind of makes sense. These two teams just played 8 days ago in a similar travel spot. Chicago won in Washington 79-71 in a game where they shot absolutely terribly, 38% field goal range and 1 for 14 from the 3-point line. They won that game by 8 points. When it comes to the side, the Mystics last game, Brittany Sykes, she ended up having a setback injury, hence why that game kind of got a little bit closer in the end. But she looked really good for them. It feels like a letdown spot for the Mystic coming off their first win of the season back at home, 0-5 where they're at home this season. Is the crowd even for them? I mean, shit, Angel Reese is probably going to be the most publicized player in this game, born and raised in Maryland. The last time that she played in Washington 8 days ago, literally the whole entire courtside was LSU alumni. Her coach was there from college. It felt like a Chicago Sky home game, not a Washington Mystic home game. And she definitely answered the call, dominating the game, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. With Cardoso being back, I thought that would kind of bring down her production, but Elizabeth Williams kind of being out for the Sky has really opened up both of them to get a lot more minutes. Both of the top 5 draft picks are kind of going in for the future. And that's where I'm kind of going in for this prop for this one here. I'm back in Angel Reese, double-double, +105. She's got some criticism to the media after the Clark popularity comment, and, man, she's fucking responded and answered the call since that comment in the media. 4 straight games with a double-double, fastest rookie in WNBA history to have 100 points and 100 rebounds. The Rookie of the Year odds are actually somewhat closing down a little bit. Caitlin Clark isn't -1,500 anymore. The most important thing, though, Baltimore kid playing in the DMV. Last time she smashed no Shakira Austin for the Washington Mystic tonight. Rebound prop 9.5, juiced at -160. Double-double prop at +110, went down to +105. We're back in the hometown girl, Angel Reese, +105, lean towards the Sky. But line kind of stinks. Battle of the bums. I kind of want to back the player that is been smashing. Angel Reese has just been smashing ever since that Caitlin Clark comment.
It's a great breakdown. Great breakdown on why you're backing Angel Reese double-double +105. Brizzy on the board in Sky Mystics. Final game for us on today's show, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We have Los Angeles Sparks 4-8, 1-4 on the road at the Minnesota Lynx 9-3, 5-1 at home. We're at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This total sitting at 159.5. This one opened up at 162.5 and immediately was dropping. There was a little bit of buyback around 6 in the morning, but it just continued to drop. The lowest point, though, was at 8 this morning when it got to 158.5. We have a point buyback from there. 159.5 right now, 3-point move to the under. It is slightly juiced to the over. On the spread here, we have the Lynx at -13. They opened up -13.5. It did get up to 14 about 2.5 hours ago. Now sitting at 13. So we have a half-point move towards the Sparks. When we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 33% of the tickets, 78% of cash on the over. And on the spread, we have 50-50 tickets, but 67% cash on the Sparks. Take it away, Brizzy. Sparks, Lynx.
Yeah, WNBA kind of reminds me a little bit of like I would say maybe like a UFC Apex card or something like that. Sometimes where I'm aligned at is definitely not where the market is aligned at, but it hasn't burnt me too much. It's like stick to the cap, bet on what you believe in. And kind of reminds me a little bit about me and Mikey Money talking about a game on Tuesday where I think it was the Aces game, Aces Lynx. And I really liked the over, and the market was screaming under. Everybody was betting the under, and the game went way over. The Lynx ended up scoring 100 points in that game and then went way over. And it's kind of like the reverse. I really like the under here in this one. The Lynx have been turning it up a notch, and they're going to face off the Liberty in the Commissioner Cup final. So it's really hard for me to say anything bad about the Lynx this season. 10-2 ATS this season, 5-1 straight up and ATS this year. This is the second road game for the Sparks, 2-3 ATS on the road, 1-4 straight up on the road, coming off a game where they got blown out 79-95 against the Seattle Storm. The biggest thing I keep on going back to is what's the motivation here for this spot for the Lynx? It's the first game of a 4-game home span over the next couple of weeks. They beat the Sparks 86-62 in the first meeting in LA. The Lynx were 7-point favorites there, and now they're 13.5-point favorites, so basically double what the first line was. The Sparks are 1-8-1 ATS, 1-9 straight up in the last 10 meetings head-to-head versus the Lynx. And this is a Lynx team that wasn't really good until this year. Like, you got to put that in the hindsight that the Sparks are 1-8-1 ATS, 1-9 straight up in the last 10 meetings, and the Lynx were basically one of the worst teams in the league for the last 2 years. And in their last 10 head-to-head meetings, the under has hit 8 times. The Lynx are coming off a game where they scored 100 points. The Aces did not look good in that game. I think both teams are going to come out slow. The market hasn't really caught up to the rest of the market on FanDuel here. I'm on the first half under here, under 79.5, -112 in the Sparks Link. I think both teams are going to come out slow. Will we see the Lynx pick it up in the second half? Yeah, but a team coming off a big win against the Aces that basically secured them the Commissioner Cup final. The LA Sparks have just not been scoring offensively. It's really their bench unit that's been playing a little bit better, like Ari McDonald. This screams first half under. This line's at 78.5 in some other markets, at -120 at ESPN Bet and Fanatics, but FanDuel's got this at 79.5. As I was placing the bet, it went from 106 to 112. So I think this one's going to drop. This line's too high. I think if I had to line this first half over under, it should be 75.5. But people are going to see the Minnesota Lynx. Look how they've been playing this year. They've been the best team in the WNBA this year, on paper wise, like ATS and statistically, data wise, offensively and defensively. They're just going to think Washington. They're going to think Minnesota Lynx smash bot. The Sparks are like the Mystic. I think this first half is going to be very low scoring, and with the low scoring first half, it's probably going to be Sparks cover the 8.5, the under hits, then the Lynx kind of pick it up in the second half and kind of put their foot on the throats of the Sparks, and they end up losing the game. Do they cover the 13.5 points? I wouldn't be betting the Sparks side, but fuck. I think this game goes under, first half under specifically.
I love it. First half under 79.5 for Billy Brisbane and Angel Reese. Double at +105. Both games pop off at 7:30. Joey Harb, sorry about that. Jose's on his way up to Dallas for game 4 of the NBA Finals. But you'll have your chance at the 4th win. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll be doing horse races next week. Brizzy, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming on and delivering in WNBA and NBA. You have a great record in NBA this year, and we're very thankful for it. You've led the way there. So thank you for all that you do for us. Brizzy on the over 210.5 in game 4 of the NBA Finals. Brizzy, please support our guy Brizzy on X at getting_bills_. Brizzy, any last words for the Capper supporting the show, my guy? And I know you have the big
UFC card this weekend.
Yeah, huge UFC card, which then you guys got to check out our big show for UFC. It is the Locker Room Podcast, and it stars 2 Cents, Billy Brisbane, Big Show, and Millsy, and they crushed Cincinnati. So it is our main video on our YouTube page. So check that out. Brizzy, any last words for the Capper Sport and the show?
Yeah, big weekend ahead. We got UFC Vegas 95. Make sure you guys check out the content over on Pub Sports Radio right here. Hit that like and subscribe button. And then if you're a premium member, check out the Prize Picks video. Posted up the Prize Picks video, I believe, yesterday. And tomorrow, big WNBA games too as well. New York Liberty taking on the Las Vegas Aces. We will be back in the Liberty at +110. WNBA Finals revenge spot here for the Liberty against the Aces. I like that spot for tomorrow. Make sure you guys follow me over on X, as the kids call it nowadays, getting Bills_.
I love it. There he is, Billy Brisbane. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show and a part of our community. It's a tough week for the group here with the passing of our friend Teese. So thank you guys so much for the love that you've shown for Teese. And we're going to be doing a special show in 2 weeks for Teese. And thank you for your support through the tough times for us. Here's a review of action. Montreal, Edmonton, first half under 24.5, full game 48.5, under 48.5. I'm on the unders. Slatsy's on the Elks team total under 20.5. I love that look. I just can't triple up. But I think that might even be better than my action. And I've been staring at it for 72 hours. It's just about whether or not I want to triple up or not, you know. Stampeders plus 9.5. That's down to 8. Again, my action comes out on Monday on X. And then I'm on the Tigers money line. This line move has gone against me. Nate Dogg 420s on the other side with the Rough Riders. And I'll go to battle with him. I'll go to battle here in the Ticats home opener. Then in MLB, not a ton of action. Spreadsheet dog play today is the Guardians. And for us, I've got to decide exactly what to do with this Marlins spot, but I'm very interested in them. First 5 under in Marlins. I need to know Max Meyer starting. Jose's on the over 7 in Philadelphia. Baltimore. Cabby's on the Phillies team total over 3.5. Guardians, Blue Jays, we stayed off, but the Pimp Slap play today back in business with the Guardians. Cab's on the Padres team total over 4, and Tatis over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Rays, Braves, no action. I'm going to be on the Brewers -1. I haven't bet any of this MLB yet. LJ's on the first 5 over 3.5. Jose is on the Astros. Justin McKelvey's on the Astros. Gambler's first glance is Astros. I'll be rolling with the Astros as well. Pig Milk play today. Pig Milk running hot. Oakland A's first 5 plus 1/2 at even money. That got me off of the Twins first 5 -1/2. Got me off. Then White Sox first 3 for me. Royals, Dodgers, no action. And then first 5 under in Rangers, Mariners, first 5 over, and Giants team total over in Angels, Giants. So I have a lot of late action. Dummy Gun Ricci is on the Rays plus 184. Also the under 9.5 in the Yankees game, which we're not sure if it'll go. And Baltimore over 7. That is our action for today. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show and being here. Just being here. It means a ton. And to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day this weekend. There's so many fathers in our community. Teese was one as well. Our thoughts go out to Alexis, his daughter. And, you know, it's just never easy dealing with loss due to the finality of it all. While he's not physically here, we can talk about him a lot, keep him alive here with our group and in our community, and that's what we'll do. On behalf of all of us at Pop Sports Radio, thank you guys for supporting. Go out there, get that cash this weekend. That's what Teese would want us to do, man. He was pro gambler. Let's Leche this. Leche. Hey, those bookmakers. Get that cash. Get paid in full. And happy Father's Day to the fathers out there. Let's roll.
Pub Sports Radio's the crew, that's a fact. We all about bread, making bank accounts fat. Who the hell is that? LJ from the H, I stack green like Boston. Shout out to Nasty Nate from down south, where we ride on slab. 420 highway smoking with that boy Daby Cab. Swing by Dallas with them Cowboy fans so we can smoke out J Money, cause you know that's our mans. Us against the bookies, put money in our pockets. Fly out to Vegas, meet up with Ski Profit. Hit the sports books, we got money to stack. Can't forget them college picks with that boy Conor Mack.